have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe-to-toe with me on that?
You've like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Five. I hope everyone is happy and healthy, doing the things they love with those who love to do them with. As you know, it is Monday, the 26th of January. I can already hear an echo again. I don't know what's going on. Guys, please do smash the like button for me. Hit the subscribe in the chat, in the comment if you haven't already. Drop the comments thick and fast. Be respectful to the guests. And, of course, do check us out on the podcast platforms. If anyone can hear the echo, please let me know. And I don't know what's going on. Guys, we have an interesting show. We've got to do the dialogue. We've got to do the analysis of what happened against Burnley. Stel was on the trip, got himself on TV. We'll be talking about that. We've got Wednesday night to look forward to. And we have the on-again, off-again Andy Robertson transfer news, views, and clues, and everything else to get through as well. Please also check out OK Jersey. And by the way, guys, it does say on the screen there, as you know by now, if you're looking for your best clobber, new, old, retro, athleisure wear, Jeremy, Jacques, all of that stuff, you can get it at OK Jersey. Search OK Jersey. Now, normally you get 8% off at checkout using code 5, F-I-V-E. However, the wonderful people at OK Jersey have decided to try and brighten our moods, given the distinct lack of reasons to feel cheerful regarding the transfer window. And so until the end of the transfer window, until Monday, February the 1st, you can actually get 15% off, 15, by using code FIVE15 at checkout. So unbelievable quality, unbelievable prices, but already better once again with the code 15. Guys, I'm going to hand it over to Stealth to see how he's doing. And I'm going to see if I can figure out this. So it's got to be coming from Johnny.
It's Johnny.
Johnny, it's your channel. There's something going on with your...
You've probably got two web browsers open, one for streaming and one for YouTube.
I don't.
So, someone's got two YouTube. Someone's got two pages open.
How are you? How are you still anyway? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, it was a long trip to Burnley, even longer on the way back because the motorways decided to shut down part of the M1, which was great on a Saturday night. But yeah, we went there. We made the most of it. Not the result we wanted. It was all right. The show goes on. Hello, everyone, by the way. Everyone in the chat, everyone who watches, listens afterwards. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put everyone on mute that's not talking, guys. It's just one
he said it's gone, so I don't...
Definitely hasn't
gone. Sean, is it you? Have you got two browsers open?
No.
I definitely don't have two browsers open. I've got one browser and this one. 100%.
I don't know if you might have these back microphone settings going, though. There's definitely something going on there. Luba, how you doing, mate?
All good, thanks. All good today. Fresh from hacking into your show. There you go.
How dare you? It's nice. It was nice intro.
And good evening to everyone watching and everyone in the chat. I always enjoy the comments, even Scott Amos's. So hello, Scott.
Johnny, how you doing? Johnny, I think it's coming from you, Johnny. I'll put you on mute when we're not talking. But if I see your mouth moving, I will be sure to bring you straight back in. Johnny, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing okay. Day 26, bugger all happening. Ambition. Well, there isn't any ambition when you've sold Johnson and we've lost Kudus, Bentancur. Who else have we lost? Richarlison, Bergval. I'm trying to think who else. Plus, it doesn't look. We got no idea when and if Kulu and Madison will be back. And what have we bought? We bought an opportunist Gallagher and a kid from Brazil. It's It's bullshit, really. It's bullshit. And I don't want to hear any more excuses. There are no more excuses. Fulham are doing deals. West Ham are doing deals. We're not even doing deals on wheels.
Yeah, 100%. Johnny, I'll tell you what, I'll start with you, mate. Before we get into the transfer news, views, and clues, obviously that's like the whole segment on that. Let's start with where we got to start, though. Burnley on Saturday, 3 p.m. I'll let you go where you want with it, mate. Like, you know, obviously the fans outraged at the end, but the performance, arguably one of our better performances of late. So reasons to be slightly more positive, reasons to slightly believe. What's your thoughts, Johnny?
Well, what I would say is the last two games, in the two games that we've had, I don't know if Heiting has made a difference or he's done something that no one else has done. I'm not sure, but we moved the ball much quicker than we have done all season. Transitions were much better. And we actually looked dangerous. I mean, listen, I know it's going to be controversial, but I actually thought we played well. The goalkeeper, Dubravka, was absolutely inspired. I mean, he made 9 saves. We hit the bar. And there weren't 9 ordinary saves. 4 or 5 of them were absolutely superb. But, and this is the but, you can't go to sleep in professional football. You can't. And we went to sleep and we paid the price. But there were positives. I thought Odegaard looked really good. I thought Spence did well. Xavi Simons frustrated me immensely with his final ball. You know, there were pluses and there were minuses. I thought Mickey van der Ven took his goal extremely well. I thought Romero's his headed finish was absolutely superb. But he was at fault for both the goals. So, he was definitely at fault for the second. The first one, I would say, for me, was more down to Solanke and Vicario. For me, Vicario has to go. He has to go. I don't care when he goes, but he has to go. Just poor, man. He doesn't install any confidence. Not only does he not install confidence in me, I don't believe he installs confidence in that back line. Hence the reason why we're in panic. His way out of a mistake after it's happened is normally to run to the youngest member of the team, often Archie Gray, and scream at him and berate him. So
are you blaming Vicario for which goal? For the first goal?
No, for the first goal, I think he could have. No, he's not solely to blame. It was a brilliant cross, but I'm saying he does not command his box. He doesn't intercept that. You know, why isn't he moving? You know, he can see better. He can see his defenders in front of him. And there was another moment where he could see clearly what was in front of him, and he never called out to the defence. I think it was Danso. There was a moment there with Danso. The other thing which pissed me off big time, that I was annoyed with Thomas Frank with, was Dom Solanke. No way should have been on that pitch at the finish. He's been out for months on end. There's not a chance. He should have been off after about 60 minutes. He was blowing hard after about 40 minutes in the first half. And had he been taken off, he should have been taken off for Tell. And what does it say about Kolo Muani when he brings on Dane Scarlett when we're chasing a game ahead of Kolo Muani? The problem we have...
No questions asked. No questions asked by the media about that, by the way.
No, I don't know. That would be my very first question. I said this to you the other day. You know, what's going on? Because we're caught between a rock and a hard post here, because if we send him back, Kolo Muani, and Dom Solanke gets injured, which is entirely possible the way we're playing him after being out for such a long time, we can only add 3 attackers, three extra players for the Champions League squad. We will be screwed. We will be screwed in the Champions League. So I don't see how he can go back. I mean, he can twerk all he likes for Juventus, but PSG have had enough of Juventus. They pissed them around the whole of summer. taken them down to the wire and then said, oh, we can't afford it. Can you accept this price? And they said no. So I can't see any way at all that Mawani would go back and try and get to Juventus, because that's where he'd like to be.
Yeah. And there's rumours out, which again we'll come to later on about that story, that there might be some sort of movement there. It'd be interesting though. Stell, I'll come to you, mate. Mr. Worldwide, Mr. Famous, Mr. Hundreds of millions of Tottenham fans saw you reacting to Burnley's goal. First of all, what was the experience like for you? What was your take from being at the game? Obviously, you had the insight around the away fans. And let's try and draw some parallels and comparisons here, right? Because I think a lot of people, that at least on the watch along that I did, and I think Johnny and I, when we've spoken about it on the channel that can't be named, a lot of people that on the Tottenham fans there were saying, yeah, look, it's one of our better performances. And, you know, maybe given all the other variables and the circumstances around, if you want to sack him, who do you bring in? And, you know, better options in the summer. A lot of people are thinking maybe now's not the right time. It's not the obvious, most logical thing to do. But yet it seemed like the away fans have just absolutely made their mind up about Thomas Frank. What was your day like, buddy?
It was a long day. Burnley's no joke. It's past Manchester, so you're looking at 4 to 5 hours. On the way back, it's worse because they shut down roads and it was raining and they put 50-mile-per-hour speed limits on the roads coming back. So, and I've been caught going above that. When you do 55 or 60, you get £100 fine, speed awareness course, all that. So we weren't going above the limit, that's for sure. It's a long day. The fans put the effort in. There's quite a few empty seats, I have to say. So clearly, what used to be a very difficult thing to go to an away game now is a lot easier because fans aren't going and fans aren't taking the tickets either. There was 3 empty seats to the left of me, 2 in front, 1 to the right, a few behind, and that was just my little area. So, you know, it wasn't as busy as what it could have been, but there was still a good couple of thousand up there. Fans got behind the team. People that say just get behind your team, the fans do. The fans got behind the team. They were singing the whole game. Maybe not as much as what they normally do, but when we were losing, the fans turned. At 2-1, the fans, they didn't turn because it was just 2-1. It was coming. That goal was coming. We could see it was coming. That's the scary thing when you know it's coming. So when it actually happened, it's like, oh, God. And then at 2-2, the fans were very hostile. Listen, as much as I'm not on board with Frank anymore and whatnot, the man's still a human being. The hate directed to him, I didn't participate in it because it's too much, man. It was... He came over to clap the fans and the baseline in the fans' voices of the boo was horrendous. It was, you know, it's a frightening sound. And he just turned away straight away and he played it calm. He walked away, but you could see his eyes.
Are you saying that if it's like, boo, it's more cheerful? If it's boo, it's more visceral, more actual anger behind it? Is that what we're saying here? There's tonal inference. Is that what we're saying? Love that if that's the case. Fair enough.
And I actually felt a bit sorry for him because as he walked away, his eyes looked over at us, but he refused to turn his head because he knew that those fans were like, just get out of the club, mate. And listen, you can't be human and not feel a little something. Like, come on, mate.
Are the away fans though guilty maybe of having made their mind up and a little bit caught up in that kind of tribal environment where, you know, like if you're, you know, football fans, if someone gets in a fight, all of a sudden people that are accountants 9 to 5 suddenly want to throw a bottle, you know, like that kind of environment where you just get caught up in the madness. It comes across to me like the away fans have made their mind up on this guy, and anything other than a perfect performance and a perfect result is going to result in that sort of atmosphere.
Sean, I don't think it's one game. It's a multitude of games. I mean, these same fans went to Arsenal away. Sure. These same fans went and sat at Brentford for an absolute stink fest. But those same
fans have actually seen the best football and the best results of the season. The home fans haven't.
No, you're right, but that bar is quite low. It's quite a low bar we've set. You know, these same fans went to Monaco away, Bordeaux away, you know, and these aren't cheap trips. Like I calculated this, just going to Burnley and back, petrol, food, ticket, everything. And plus we went on the toll as opposed to the cheaper way, the longer way round. It cost me about £150. Now that's a one-off. If you're doing that every 2 weeks, you're talking thousands. So I get it. I get where they're coming from. I just, it's a bit much. I think it gets a bit much, but I get it. Listen, I totally get it. Because if it was Daniel Levy or Vinay or Charrington or Enoch, I probably would have been the line ball. I would have been there like, Rrr! So,
yeah. But in terms of the actual performance of the game, sorry, Joe, so let me just quickly ask this question. In terms of the actual game itself, when you were speaking to people after the game, were they even, was there any positive kind of feedback? Because it felt like I said at the start, like most people that I on my watch along and people I've spoken to since kind of agree that we're somewhat moving in the right direction with the performances. Okay, the results aren't great, but it's been better. It's been slightly better. Was there any of that feedback, or was it just nah? This guy.
As soon as the game finished, everyone turned on Frank. They clapped Romero and Van der Ven. I think fans acknowledge that Van der Ven and Romero right now, whatever anyone thinks of them, they're carrying the club. They're carrying. Without them, we are relegated.
I know about that, mate. Romero's defending has been absolutely atrocious. He's scoring goals, but his defending has been appalling.
But that's it. Only him and Van der Ven are scoring goals. Like no one's doing it. So and that's what I mean by carrying the club. And yeah, there are questions about the defending. But look, for me, I thought Spurs played well in the first half and should have maybe got 2 or 3 goals. There's no doubt we were doing well, but we're playing Burnley, right? We're playing one of the worst teams in the Premier League, right? They're rock bottom with Wolves. So the goalie had a great game, but I've got a couple of questions based on what the manager did. Now, I said after Dortmund, just go with that same team. He dropped Udogie, he dropped Gray, and Bergvall's injured, right? I get Bergvall. You've got to bring in Gallagher. Did you need to start Bissouma and not Gray, given the performance we had last game? Why was Udogie dropped? Before the game, I said to the people next to me, why is Udogie not on the pitch?
Well, the reason why Bissouma and Gallagher played is because neither of those two can play in the game on Wednesday. So it's better to give Archie Gray minutes, less minutes on the weekend.
Right, but we need to win this game because we are falling in the league, right? This whole I'll rest him because of this and that. I just think you've got to put your best team out each week at the moment.
Is Archie Gray suddenly considered our best team?
No, he's not. But that Dortmund performance, just go with that same blueprint, is what I'm saying. Don't. There's no need to mix this up unless we're forced into it by injury.
But he made 9 saves, Stel. I hear what you're saying, but the keeper made 9 saves. 5 of them were outstanding.
Let me talk about Udogie. Udogie frees up the wide player to be more attacking and more aggressive in the attack because he will give you that protection. Now, by removing Udogie, you're now saying, Van der Ven, I need you to come across. Van der Ven doesn't want to come across because he knows he needs to protect the space there. He's not, his mindset doesn't operate like that. And this is what happened. And I said this before the game when I saw the starting lineup. I said, this is going to be a problem. Kyle Walker puts in a fantastic cross into the box. They score and it's given us offside. That's a warning sign of what they're going to try and do. And we got away with that one. That's where Udogie would be. Just before half-time, same thing, goal. That all could have been prevented with Udogie there. And I called it before the game, so this isn't me just hindsight. Half-time, he brings on Udogie, not one cross from Kyle Walker from that side. Because they realised at half-time, we better shut that down. That should have been done before the game. So that, for me, was a problem. In the second half, we started well, but then they gained momentum. Marcus Edwards, every time he got on the ball, he's allowed to receive, turn, and run at us. And by the way, he had quite a goodish game, I thought. And it's the way we allowed him to play. No one shut him down. And I've seen that happen in a previous game where we allowed players in the midfield, I think it was against Villa, to turn on the ball and come at us. No one in that midfield was prepared to shut it down. So Conor Gallagher, I'll say it now, guys. I don't know what he does for this team right now. Okay, maybe in the future, but he started against West Ham, we lost. He started against Burnley, we almost lost. He doesn't play against Dortmund, we were brilliant. Questions have to be asked. Is he what we need right now? And the other thing I wanted to say about this game was, I thought that this obsession with us passing out from the back, no matter what, it's almost as, and I know this is coached because it happens every single game. Vicario gets the ball, it's almost as if he's only allowed to pass to Van der Ven or Romero. Van der Ven or Romero. It's never out there. It's never out there. It's never long and wide. The only time he ever goes long is when it's panic stations. And by doing this, the ball went underneath Romero's foot, which led to their equaliser as well. This has got to stop, and that's down to the coaching. It can't keep being every way we start an attack is right. Give it to Romero or give it to Van der Ven, and that's all we do. Because I tell you what, Burnley in that second half, some of their passing was so crisp and so give and go. They were getting through us, and I thought,
yeah, we looked really tight. The second half, we looked shattered as the game went on. Thomas Frank, for me,
but Sean, they're passing.
The biggest criticism for him. Yeah, but he didn't make any changes, mate. He didn't make any changes to the midfield.
No, I get that, but their passing of the ball was so crisp, and I'm thinking they don't have superstar players. That is Scott Parker. That's how.
My point is the reason why they had an extra second on the ball because our press just went to shit. Our press just evaporated in the second half, and that's because I think that Basuma hasn't really played that many minutes. Conor Gallagher, listen, I agree with what you said about Conor Gallagher. He hasn't done anything yet. It's been 2 games, so obviously we give him a chance to resettle into the Premier League and understand all that stuff. But generally speaking, for me, the most frustrating thing in that game was from Thomas Frank's perspective, because I know he had limited options in the way he could set the team up. I thought we actually played very well in the first half. I agree with Johnny. We could have been 4-0 up in the first half, and if it wasn't for some worldies, the game's dead and buried by half time. But it wasn't, and then we made that sloppy mistake at the end of the first half. It's 1-1. Their tails are up. And then the second half, we're getting tired. Dominic Solanke, Johnny's right. Dominic Solanke didn't have anything more.
He should have come off.
Should have come off. Basuma, I thought Basuma was fantastic in the first half. Second half, I thought he looked tired. Conor Gallagher looked irrelevant, just the game passed him by. But we didn't make any substitutions. And then when we finally had the substitutions ready to go, we then conceded. And so you're going to bring on certain players for when the game state is 1-1.
He brought on Archie Gray at 2-1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But but they were supposed to come on at 1-1, then they score, and at that point you should be really thinking, well, do you reset the game state's changed, right? You're now chasing the game.
I guess.
Yeah, and he didn't.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Can I say one thing though, because of something Johnny mentioned about Charlie Simmons? I don't think he was as average as some fans think. Right? There's a number of times where he got the ball, really nice footwork, beat the man, drove at them. You're thinking he's going to do something here, and every time they freaking chopped him down. They kept bringing him down. And,
he passed erratic.
So
he passed his final ball. Still, you're 100% right. He picked up the ball. It was exciting. He drove, and then all of a sudden, he gives away a cheap pass that no one at PSG or Barcelona Academy would have stood for. Basic stuff.
Johnny, you're right. You're right. I don't disagree with that. But for me, there was no other midfielder prepared to drive at them because Gallagher wasn't doing it. Gallagher just pings it left, pings it right. That's when fans started singing sideways and backwards everywhere we go. Basuma, he wasn't driving forward with the ball. Spence tried, but listen, Carl Walker did a number on him. Carl Walker pocketed Spence. And only when Spence came backwards and we went round, we were more effective. On the other side, it wasn't too bad. But for me, I thought...
You didn't think Spence had a good game? You didn't think Spence had a good game?
I thought he was better second half when he went to right back.
Okay.
When he got moved to right back, I thought he was a much better player.
He had a good game in moments, but in my opinion, Johnny, he is a bit of an example of the same thing with Xavi. Like they do so much great work in winning the ball back in the duels. Sorry, Luke, I'll bring you in just a second for your first take. Sorry, mate. Xavi does great work fighting for the ball. He's a little guy, but he's like, a hustler, and he gets the ball, comes out with it, drives forward, and then you have people that are overlapping him. And the easiest part of his entire move in that moment is the final bit where you just offlay it into the path of the guy who's running beyond you. And every single time in that first half, and for the majority of the second, for the majority of the game, his passes were just slightly behind the runner, slightly in front, under hit, over hit. Happens all the time with Xabi Simons. It's really frustrating, because I know he's better than that. And Jed Spence, I think Jed Spence, Johnny, had a fantastic game in moments. I thought some of his crossing, some of his tenacity, his ability to come out of the double duels at times with the ball, absolutely lovely to see. But he also is someone that makes just unnecessary sloppy final decisions when it's the easiest pass. Like, it's not like, I'm not talking about through balls. I'm not talking about 30-yard crossfield switches. I'm talking about 2 yards, 3-yard passes to the guy that's running up on the inside or the outside, and they just overhit it or underhit it. It's so frustrating. And it's not just those two. It's 5 or 6 of them that do it.
Who else is making those rampaging runs, though? Because that's
it's all for nothing. It's all for nothing if the final pass is poor, right?
Well, he put one in first minute of the second half. He put ball right across the box. Literally no one there. Literally.
I know, but like if we're going to pick out one moment and like to defend the performance, then Xabi Simons hits the bar, right? But he was awful throughout most of the game, you know.
Sean, can I add one final thing? This is the last thing I'll say on the game. I will give Frank some reprieve on this. In that game against Burnley, if we had Kane or Son of the old, or Defoe or Keane or Berbatov or whoever, we would have won that game. There's no doubt. We would have won that game if we had those caliber of players in that particular game, because we created enough and had enough shots to win that game. And that I would give Frank some reprieve to, because we up front, and this is why, guys, I said Sousa, I don't care that we've signed him. Conor Gallagher, I'm on the fence. I don't want Robinson, because none of these players fix the direct problem we've got right now, which is
the direct obstacle for the direct obstacle on that game was Dubravka, right? He had the game of his life.
Sean, Solanke had a header from 4 yards out, and he's glided it into his path.
Sure.
Kane or Son, that's bottom corner. We win it by 1 goal. This is
you know, Matisse Tell put the ball into he bounced it off the floor, top bins. Unbelievable save from one of Odebear's chances. There was plenty of chances where Dubravka's found an extra foot.
You know, the Dubravka was fantastic. Yeah. I totally agree, but there's one of those chances a Kane or Son puts in the back of the net. There's one.
Sure.
But it's not. This has been a problem for us for a while now, which is why this window, and I was saying it every single week with you guys, I'm sure we'll get into it, we need someone that can put a ball in the back of the net. We are crying out for at least one player of that caliber. We have none. Solanke's not that guy, not consistently.
All right. Lubo, sorry for the delay, mate. We're going around the houses there, man. How you feeling about the whole game? Give us your take. Make it a spectacular, well worth waiting for rant.
Let me move away from everything that you guys have said, because yes, Dubravka kept them in the game. Yes, a top centre forward I'm sure would have finished 1 or 2 of those chances. Just a few points. It reminded me a little bit of the Brighton away game, where we gave away 2 sloppy goals, should have won the game and finished at 2-2. I think the abuse on Frank, I think he's over the top now. I don't like the football, the style of football that he's playing. But it's funny, actually, because I've just been seeing a lot on social media about, Carrick's the miracle worker at United all of a sudden. Carrick's got his first team. Has Carrick got anybody injured? I can't think of anybody who's injured out. He's got his entire first team, which Frank has never had. And if you bring Maddison and Kulusevski in, and Solanke from the start, without injury, who's had a good pre-season, then we would be in a much higher position than we are now, I'm sure. And I'll say quite possibly, because Frank's never been an expansive style manager. The football that we're playing would have been much better with those players in the team. So, and why is he getting the abuse when this is the result? What we're seeing is the result of appalling recruitment, appalling just the whole policy from ENIC for years and years. And this is what Frank's been left with. And Frank's the first manager without Kane and Son for 10, 11 years. and the guy's trying to make the best of a bad job. He's not doing a great job. He's doing an average job for me. And the thing is for me now is that they're in such free fall. We got 14 points from the first 7 games, and we've got the next 14 points from the next 16 games, which shows you the drop. We are in free fall. If Leeds win today, then we are 14th on goal difference from both Palace and Leeds, and 3 points clear of Forest.
They're winning 1-0, Liver.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I brought the table up to date. Leeds are now level with us, and Forest are 17th, which is where we finished last season. So, for me, I think they're in a quandary now. What do? Vinay's come out openly and said, well, we looked at 30 managers and he fitted the best. So if Frank goes, then that shows poor judgment on Vinay's part. I don't know, as I said last week on the show, God knows what job he's doing. The grandson now, through marriage of Joe Lewis, is now micromanaging the club. Nick Butcher, he's got I think he's got an MBA. He's got a degree in sports marketing. So hopefully he will have some idea about sport, because at the moment it's the blind leading the blinds. I
knew people when I went to university. I knew, like, one of my flatmates did sports marketing. I very much doubt he's listening, because I haven't spoken to him in about 20 years. But let me tell you something: just because you got a sports marketing degree doesn't mean you're like top shit.
No, of course.
He wasn't the brightest light in the room. Let's be honest.
And when the owners from when the new owners, the latest owners from Chelsea came in from the States, been involved in American sport, they came in, got rid of Chelsea's, got rid of the chairman, got rid of the CEO, the negotiating team, and just went with it themselves without anybody there to guide them. And I don't think the Lewis family, whatever you think of them, there's no one there on the board who knows football to guide them. They're listening to Vinay. Well, if Vinay's doing a shit job, he's certainly not going to tell them, is he? He's in a very well-paid job. He's not going to say, "I'm sorry, guys, I'm making mistake after mistake." But
Vinay's already been undermined, though, Lubo.
Well, he has, hasn't he?
Because he has to go and get the sign-off from Nick, who, by the way, you told me this earlier, Lubo, on my channel. Nick Butcher is the son-in-law of Viv.
Correct.
I mean, this nepotism thing this is part of the problem. Like this thing of, let's get round the table on Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner and figure out who's the next part of the family that can take the reins on writing the checks. That's madness. He's a property guy. I don't care if he's got a sports marketing degree. That doesn't mean that you're ready to step up to the big boy table like that. That's ridiculous. And the fact that he is now he's Vivian Lewis's son-in-law, to me, I think that's just that therein tells its own story, right? It's ridiculous.
We're not recruiting the best in class. We're recruiting our favourites in the family. That's what we're doing.
Which is probably why still you're looking at the blinds, leading the blind Vinay, leaving the blind Lang, leaving the blind Frank. It's the whole thing is a disaster at the moment.
I was never on board with this structure. For the record, I was never on board with this new structure.
I must say, when Vinay came in, he started communicating with the fans straight away, which after the silence that we had for most of 25 years from Levy, I thought was really good. I was quite enthused about it. I came on here and I joked like my Vinay, But he first big decision he had, bringing Paratici back, should have actually said, you're number one, Lang's number two. Should have delegated the recruitment of first team players with him only and leave Lang with the youth. Not let the two of them battle it out, where it put Vinay in a position where he had to pick. Paritici's packed his bags and gone. What does he need it for? He wanted to bring his own team in. Nobody from Paritici's team came in, from what I can see. So I presume that Vinay said he's vetoed that as well. So you look at it and you just sort of speculate, and you read between the lines, and this is why Paritici's gone. And for me, Paritici's different class to Lang. Whether Paritici's the answer or not, That's another question. But for me, he's much better than Lang. I mean, I look at the money. You know, they spent 380 million in 23 months in 4 windows with Ange, and they brought in 4 first-team players out of 18. 4 out of 18. They brought 14 squad players, plus they brought Werner in on loan twice. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely nonsensical. And, you know, when you look at why we have the problems we have now, just go back. The last 2 years. God forbid he ever comes back. God forbid the club will be. I mean, for me,
I think
club will be finished. May as well hive off the football side and just run the commercial side if Levy comes back in.
I hate to burst your bubble, mate, but you know, I sometimes sit in the background and watching some of the other channels knocking around talking about things, and I don't always comment. And I've seen a hell of a lot of people over the last couple of weeks saying, "Do you know what, that Butler? Bit of a donut, bit of a fat, whatever. But I'll tell you what, he was probably right about Daniel Levy, you know." The people are speaking, Lubo. The people are speaking. It was never Daniel's fault. It was never Daniel's fault.
Listen, some people are Butlerized and some people aren't. It's as simple as that.
Johnny, let me bring you in, my man. Listen, we've moved away from the Burnley game then, but I've just put a poll up on the channel, guys. So please participate. What do we do right now? Listen, we've got Frankfurt on Wednesday, and then we've got a run of horrendous fixtures, Johnny. What is the kind of, if you put yourself in Vinay's shoes, talk me through Vinay's mindset right now with regards how he moves forward over the next month, especially with the what's happening with Leeds and Palace and etc.
Well, can I just say, right, while we're talking about all these results and how it's just sort of turned up, and this event that's only just happened, and the fan base have had enough and they've never hated a manager more. Since that Chelsea game where we were unbeaten, okay, which was November 2023, yeah, November 23, we have lost 43 league games. 43. Take that in. 43. Now you can understand why, you know, this has been going on and on and on and on. In fact, since Conte's rant, okay, 3 years, we've got less points than Brentford, Palace, Fulham, Brighton and Bournemouth. So for 3 years, we've regressed to be worse than all of those clubs. You've lost 43 games. Can any fan base in 18 months or just, 2 years since November 23, just over 2 years, take losing 40? That's just league games.
Johnny, that's out of 87.
I'm just saying, mate.
50%.
No, mate, it's more than 50%, mate.
43 out of 87.
Yeah, I'm talking about league.
I'm talking about league. 43 out of 87.
Okay. We've lost 31 of the last 61. That's 50%. But yeah. I'm saying it's like people saying, oh, it's, you know, it was better before. It was better under Ange. It was better. No, it was not. No, it was not. And, you know, let's be honest, Conte never got backed. Conte never got what he, you know, if you'd have given Conte some of the tools to go with it. I mean, bearing in mind, you know,
Conte wanted Ashley Young.
I know, but he had, but listen, what a professional he was. Let me tell you something, right? He carried on playing for about another 4 years after. But look, the thing is, I think this is bigger than Thomas Frank. I really, really do. I just feel that, you know, keep hearing that the players, it's nothing to do with any of the players, but a lot of the players have been around for the last 3 years. And two years, since November 2023, 43 defeats in the league. That's just unacceptable. I mean, I've been watching Spurs as long as Lubo. Well, not quite as long, but my point here is that I don't remember I don't remember this shit. You know, even when we had no expectations in the 90s and the 80s, whatever, we still went and we enjoyed the football. We saw great football. So not only have we had to watch these 43 defeats, we've seen kamikaze football with one manager and turgid, robotic defensive football with another. And it's sort of like, where are we as a club? We're nowhere. We're floating around in the middle of nowhere. I mean, football this season has been shocking across the board, you know, but it's no excuse for us to join the club. But what I'm saying here is that so much of the emphasis is all on Thomas Frank. Everything is Thomas Frank. But I don't buy into it. That. I believe he's made a lot of mistakes and he needs to be accountable 100%. And if he doesn't turn it around, he's gone. But, you know...
How long does he have? Well, this is the question I was going to ask you, like, Johnny. If you are Vinay, and I want to ask all three of you to have a crack at this answer, right? Put yourself in Vinay's mindset tonight. Okay, look at the results this weekend. Look at the game against Frankfurt that's coming up, which some would argue is a nice distraction. Others would suggest is a headache. And then what we've got coming up. What if you are Vinay Venkatesham and you've got this decision to make? What are you thinking? What and how do you land?
Well, I'll quickly go first and then let the others guys go. I mean, look, for me, I think we go to the end of the season. Personally, we go to the end of the season. We see what's what, and I think personally he'll go to the end of the season and then get sacked. When we will have a whole,
What's Vinay's thought process, mate?
Well, I think Vinay's thought process should be right now, I start interviewing managers, just the same as Liverpool's board are talking to Alonso and other managers, just to see in case, will Steven Gerrard step in? Right, until Alonso's gone. Now, if Steven Gerrard's not going to step in, or they don't think Steven Gerrard can do it, then they'll wait till the summer and maybe get rid of Slot. And I personally think that Vinay's thinking, right, who realistically would come to this club? So you sound out a few agents and you see, look, this is the package that's available. The 150 million still on the table. It's been available, but the 150 million keeps getting quoted now and again every window. And then if you get a cast iron commitment, whether it's Pochettino or a other top manager, whether it's a Nagelsmann or Tommy Tuchel or whoever it is, once that commitment's done, then you get rid of Frank. Unless, of course, some miraculous thing, he turns it around. And I'm going to hear everyone say, oh, what? So you're quite happy for us to take him to take us to relegation? What makes you think that a caretaker manager is going to suddenly come in and turn this shit show around? Because many others haven't been able to turn it around. Many others have struggled at this club. We've had winners that haven't won. Winners that have been winners everywhere they've been until they came here, right? I just think that's my opinion. If he got sacked tomorrow, so be it, But all I'm saying is you've got to have a plan B, mate. You can't just sack him and then start sitting there for the next 3 weeks like we always do. We had no plan of succession for Kane. We had no plan of succession for Son. We had no plan of succession for Modric, for Bale. And I think the same as we're sat here right now. There is no plan of succession because if there was, I believe they would have taken action already.
Okay, fair enough. Luba, I'll come to you. Same sort of question, man. I'm trying to understand what you, not so much what you would do if you were him, but what are your thought process? What's the risk and reward? Right, he's a guy that has a track record of backing a manager in Arteta, and it worked out. But that shouldn't cloud his judgment because they're two different stories, two different timelines, two different teams. Obviously, there's more options available in the summer, less now. But there are a couple of people out there that if you throw the right project at them, pay enough money, all that sort of thing, then there might be something you can do. And obviously, also, if the games go go tits up in the next couple of weeks, and Leeds and Everton and Fulham and not Fulham, they're miles ahead of us, but and West Ham, etc., keep winning, then things get out of control pretty quickly, and we could slide. So if you're Vinay, like, how much more rope can you give Thomas Frank, and what is the risk reward to his own reputation? Does he have to ask permission from Nick Butcher? Like, what are we doing here?
I think Frank's tenure depends on how Spurs are doing in the league. I don't think anybody expects Spurs to get too much further in the Champions League, maybe the last 16. If we get through, if we win on Wednesday, we're going to play a top club, we're going to go up against a PSG or Bayern Munich, any of the English clubs, Barcelona, Real Madrid, we're out. I think it depends on how we're doing and the gap between us and the bottom three. I'm just sort of scrolling through. I mean, February's horrendous. You look at March. We start with Fulham away, Palace at home, Liverpool away, Forest at home. So if you're looking at that and you're thinking, we've really got to get 6 points from Palace and Forest at home, which should give us the necessary leeway if February goes pear-shaped. I mean, after that, April, Sunderland away, not easy. Brighton at home, and then Wolves away. And I mean, May is a buggy. I mean, you've got Villa and Chelsea away, with Leeds at home and finishing with Everton at home. So it's really not the way we're playing, the results we're getting. There's no easy running here. They've got to have somebody to come in, whether it's an interim or not. What sort of interim do you bring in? And if you bring an interim in, do you bring in a manager who's going to galvanise the team, and you keep the coaching team? Heitinger's just come in, so he's not going anywhere. Cochrane and the rest of the Brentford ex-Brentford team, what do you do about them? I was reading if they do get rid of Frank, it's just 8 million, which is small. It's small beer compared to what they will lose if they get relegated. So they're in a situation. I genuinely don't think they know what to do. I think they are a bit lost, and I think they are relying on initially results. What they should be doing now is sounding out other potential interims.
Can you do that without getting back to Thomas Frank?
I don't think it matters, to be honest. I think obviously you've got to be discreet. It's not fair on Frank, but I think there's got to be.
There are consequences to the reality that the game is a results-based business, right? It's not all about improvements, and as I think what Stel was saying earlier, it's a low bar, right? We are seeing some better performances, but that's stemming from abject performances not that long ago.
That's right. You
have to understand that that's the game, right? It's business.
For sure, there has to be a contingency plan here. There's and for Spurs to go down, the financial ramifications are too big. They'll just be enormous.
Especially for us, mate, in the content game. Oof. We'll be dead. Spurs 5 will become the Spurs 1. It'll just be Lubo left. The rest of us jack it in.
No, listen, hopefully we'll have a promotion year next year. But last time we went down, it's funny. Johnny mentioned about we've been watching the team a long time, and how long since we've seen a period like this. We go back to the 90s, and we had 2 in 3. I think 92 and 94 were bad years. I go back to the 70s, and 75 was a shocking year when we had to beat Leeds, I think, last game to stay up. 76 under Terry Neal, we finished 11th, which was, where I think we were mid-table pretty much the whole season. And then we went down in 77. So in the 70s and the 90s, we've had 2 out of 3 bad years. This time, we've literally had 3 years where it's just been really poor. It really has been poor consistently.
I enjoyed 70. Listen, for me, Lubo, when we got relegated, mate, it was one of the best. It was one of the best seasons in the second division. I absolutely loved it. Look, even when the 90s that you're talking about, that we were so crap, there was still, I don't know, maybe it was naivety that we didn't expect much, but we came to games and, we had certain games where we were unbelievable. We saw incredible football, and you went home and that was it. There was no YouTube to sit and bitch about. You went out with your mates in the evening, you spoke about the game, And all you had was match of the day. We didn't have Sky. You know, it wasn't a
That's
lot of
right.
Sky Sports.
But the other thing also, Johnny, the other thing also is that you had in that team that went down, you had Pat Jennings, you had Glenn Hoddle, you had Steve Perryman. You had some real class players there. And I know Hoddle was only 19.
Obviously
20.
not. Obviously not.
No, but it was it's the sum rather than the past, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the 90s, you had Klinsmann there. You had Teddy and Barmby and Adam.
We had one or two good players in the 90s, and we had a hell of a. Let's not just reflect on how great it was to have Klinsmann. Let's also reflect on how bad it was to have Dean Austin.
No, we had mix of
and Jason Posey, Dazelle.
Shocking.
You know,
but we
Colin
had
Calderwood. I mean, what are we doing here? Let's not pretend like the 90s were the good old days, Lubo.
But Sean, what I'm saying here is, what you got to remember is that you had magical players, right? There was sprinkling of magic, and watching those players and their magic, whether it was Waddle and Gaza and Berbatov and Carrick and all of these players, that's what we had. I look at this team now and this squad, and there's literally nobody that gets my juices flowing. No one.
Yeah, sure.
That's
one player. Before I come to Stell on his take on that one, just quickly, guys, a bit of breaking news. This is just dropped from Fab. Juventus called in the last 24, 48 hours to ask about Randall Kolo Muani. This is just dropped 30 seconds ago. After the En-Nesyri deal is off, Juve tried to open talks for Kolo Muani. I mean, who are they calling? Are they calling us or are they calling PSG? But Tottenham Hotspur currently not giving the green light to exit. PSG also not happy after last summer's deal collapsed. I mean, the En-Nesyri deal's fallen apart because of Juventus being donuts again. Like these guys they want everyone, but they can't afford anybody, and they're making everything difficult. Like this is their own mess.
How's that? Only a minute ago, I posted that before I came on the show. I wonder, Fabrizio, come on, Fabrizio, mate, you got to keep up. I posted that. He's obviously done a
YouTube video to reflect on it.
Right, so Tottenham Hotspur, who have dropped Muani for 2 games in a row, are refusing to let him go.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a reason because of that, because we don't have anybody else, mate. And listen, let me tell you something.
But we're not using him.
Yeah, but he's not going. PSG are not going to entertain Juventus after what happened last summer. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but we're the ones blocking it. But we're the ones not giving.
No, PSG. He clearly said that PSG have absolutely no interest in dealing with Juventus after the business last summer.
Romano's tweet said Spurs not giving the green light.
Yeah, have a look at the last bit of it.
He says Spurs aren't giving the green light, but also PSG are not happy after last summer's deal collapsed. Basically, you wasted our time last summer.
So it's us not giving the green light.
But still, if Solanke gets injured,
exactly,
and Muani has already gone back,
that's why we should be hijacking the Mateta deal. He's going to Nottingham Forest tonight for 35 million quid. What are we doing here?
What does Muani do up front?
But why aren't we hijacking the Mateta deal?
So you're going to get rid of him? We can only add 3 players to the Champions League squad, right?
Johnny,
3 players.
We got rid of Johnson, who scored 19 goals last season, and we replaced him with no attacker.
Oh, well, I'm not disagreeing.
We want to keep a player. Hold on. We want to keep a player that scores no goals. It doesn't make sense for me. Get rid of Muani and use the wages we pay him to try and attract, like Sean said, a Mateta or someone, a Lookman, whoever
he wants to go to Italy. He wants to go to Italy.
Mateta's going to Nottingham Forest.
Guys, 1 second. Just basics. Muani scores 0 goals. Can we find one player in world football that scores more than 0?
Listen, look, Stel, don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, right? You're putting it like that. Obviously,
no, I'm asking a question, Johnny.
I'm telling you, right?
Idiot.
No, hang on a second. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What's going on here? What's happened?
I don't know.
Like,
he feels like I'm attacking him. I'm asking everyone.
Well, you are, mate. You're saying, can you not find it? Do you not want to strike?
I'm asking all of you, not just you, Johnny. Everyone.
But the thing is, how can you get rid of we don't have a striker, so we get rid of him. We can only put 3 players into the Champions League squad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So who we putting in? If Solanke gets injured,
the new player that we bring in.
Because you've only got three. You've only got three.
We've only
spots,
got three.
So one of them will be either, like, let's say either Gallagher will be in there. The left back, if we get in Robertson, which looks like it's progressing tonight.
I can't stress this point any more times. We need goal scorers. I don't care who you drop. Right. So drop anyone who isn't a goal scorer.
But
Johnny, answer the question. Don't put Robertson in the squad.
No, bring him in. What I'm saying to you is you need to bring him in. We need to bring a striker in and keep Mawani only to play in the Champions League phase of it, because the new striker probably won't, because we don't have enough players.
Why won't he?
Because look how many players have gone out injured. We're going to have to fill the Champions League squad back.
But Mawani does nothing. It's a waste of
money. But I think what Johnny's saying is, with the rule is, right, let's assume that we qualify either via the playoffs or tomorrow night or Wednesday night. Then when we get to reset the squad, we don't get to rebuild the entire squad. Only 3 changes can be made. And so, given the fact that you've got no Bergvall, no Bentancur, no Kudus, all of these guys are coming out.
Richarlison's out for weeks.
Richarlison as well. Then on that basis, you're basically going to have to sit there and go, well, Conor Gallagher has to come in. You probably make the argument that Bissouma has to come in. And then you might also have to make the argument that as it stands,
I wouldn't bring in Robertson then. I would not bring Robertson into the squad.
This is what we're saying.
Yeah. Well, here's my answer. Yeah. I would prioritize the new player, but I would not keep Mawani. He's a dead rubber, because the only way Mawani works in this team, and I've said it again in the past, he's got to play in the 10 role where I think he's better suited with Xavi Simons. But Frank doesn't want to do that. Frank's not interested. So he's wasted at this club. Mawani's going to do nothing on the left or in the middle. It's not going to work.
Colin Mawani's not going to do anything. Colin Mawani's not a bad player. He just doesn't.
He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here. That's the shit.
Right, so then let's ship him out then. Let's get rid of him. If he doesn't want to be here,
if you get rid of him and you don't bring someone in, then you've left.
Well, no, you have to, though, right?
And if you do bring someone in, then fine. That person again? I'm astonished that Nottingham Forest Mateta has agreed terms apparently with Nottingham Forest, but Forest right now are only willing to pay 35 and Palace want 40. If that's what we're doing here, that's for me personally. I know not everyone feels the same about Mateta, but for me, like
better than what we got.
Mateta and Solanke next season versus Richarlison and Solanke, who's always injured. Like, Mateta's got goals in him. Mateta's a unit. He's a bigger, faster, stronger player. It suits the model of football that we're trying to emulate.
Though. He's inconsistent.
Yeah, but he's had 2 good seasons in the Premier League. He's down tools a little bit because he's pissed off. He wants to get out of the sinking ship that is Palace, and Palace have lost 9 of the last 11 games. But he doesn't become a bad player overnight. He's desperate to get into the French national team. I'm not sure if he will. I think it's a tall ask for him to break into the French team, but I just think that right now, 40 million quid, we've got 150 million quid burning a hole in our pockets, and you've got a ready-made Prem-proven striker who will get you 10, 15 goals a season, and we're letting him go to Forest because Tottenham are what? We're sleeping at the wheel. Over 40 million quid. What are we doing here?
Listen, Sean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Can I give you my take on what I do with Frank at the moment?
Yeah.
I never got to answer that one.
Yeah, sorry.
I think we have to get rid of him. I think it's a priority we get rid of him, because the environment at the club needs a change. The mood needs a change. And my biggest concern is, at the moment, that loss to West Ham was a real shock. None of us thought that was really going to happen. None of us predicted anything but a win. If you go to the predictions table, we all predicted a win. Now, that loss rocked the boat. And what it's done is it's given Nottingham Forest, Burnley, West Ham, Leeds, they can smell blood. They can smell a lifeline. West Ham, they've gone and bought 2 strikers, another attacker. They're giving it a go. They're trying to survive. Leeds, they're getting better than what they were when we played them. They're fighting for their lives. Sean Dyche, this is his bread and butter. This is what he does. These teams, they know how to fight. The only players at Spurs with real fucking balls is Romero, Van der Ven and Paulinho, maybe Danzo. The rest, they haven't got it. In my view for this, what might be coming. So it's 8 points between us and West Ham. I think Crystal Palace are getting drawn into this because they're in free fall as well. But if we don't win a couple of games in February, and West Ham, Leeds, Forest, they win a couple, guys, we're in deep shit. Shit beyond any shit that we could possibly believe. And my fear is as well, where Man City, normally we do well. Normally we get something out of that game because we're their bogey team. What Man United did to Arsenal yesterday has given Man City one last crack at it. Man City have been given one last chance to try and win this league because of what Man United did to Arsenal yesterday. They're going to come for us and they know that they've got to beat us. It's almost as if everything's going against us. And I just feel we need a change of environment to change the direction of the ship. And the reason I believe changing manager will work.
For who still,
Right.
would you say?
Johnny, do you know what? I wouldn't mind Tim Sherwood. I wouldn't mind Robbie Keane. I wouldn't mind any manager that's just got.
Would Keane leave? Would Keane leave?
He's not going to leave a full-term gig for a temporary gig. No chance.
Guys,
Someone
listen.
realistic still.
Okay. I don't actually fully know, right? But here's the thing: that doesn't mean, because I don't know, that doesn't mean we stick with Frank.
Yeah, you're not paid £1 million a year to find the answer, right? That's the
right, because here's the thing. Lubo says, "Oh yeah, Carrick's doing well at Man United, but look at the players he's got." Amorim wasn't getting a tune out of those players. If you look at the goals scored by Cunha and Buemo, it was 1 in 4, 1 in 6. If you look at the assists from Bruno, it was 1 in every 2. In 2 games, their metrics have all gone up. All of them. There's a manager out there that doesn't turn our players into Mbeumo, into Cunha, into Bruno, but can lift their metrics up. And that's all we need to stay up and get to mid-table. That's all we need. We need a manager that just lifts the metrics on our very average players just by a notch. That's what we need. Carrick has shown, by changing the style, changing the way, changing the confidence, bringing a new belief, players can raise their game. Now, how long that lasts at Man United, I don't know. But he's getting something out of them. Guys, we need that boost. And I don't think Frank's going to give it to us. I don't think Frank can turn it. And that's why I would get rid of him now. Because my concern is, if February goes south, March, we are in deep shit. And it's not a situation our players, I think, know how to get out of, let alone the manager. So
the worry is that, as I said before, we've got 14 points from 16 games. He doesn't seem able to stop it. It is we're deep diving here, and he can't seem to put a lid on it, not even for a couple of games. And you look at the last 5 league games we've had. You look at Brentford, Sunderland, Bournemouth, West Ham, Burnley. We've picked up 3 draws and 2 defeats. We've dropped 12 points from those 5 games. So you look at the rest of the, you've got City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool, all to come. That's it's 6 out of 14 against.
So what are you doing? Are you sacking him? Are you sacking him now, or are you waiting?
I think you've got to. For me personally, he's not stopping the rots, and I think Stell's right. There has to be a mentality change in the club. It's a question of who you get in, because
no one's got the answer. That's
my answer is that you absolutely keep him for now. You don't change it, and you wait and see. And if the results continue to go against us elsewhere, and we go on a massive slide, I think that if Tottenham win against Frankfurt on Wednesday, and we'll talk about that in a minute in the second half of the show,
we'll beat them, Sean. We'll beat them.
I think we will as well. Sorry, Johnny, I'm so sorry, man, because I can hear it's like a loop back. It's driving me insane. But I think that for right now, there's more adverse, in my opinion, consequences for where the risk of relegation right now is relatively small. In my opinion, it will get a lot bigger if West Ham go on a run, Leeds go on a run, Palace turn it round, etc. But right now, the risk reward, in my opinion, favours keeping it as it is. And obviously, then you might have to make that decision. It's not a perfect science, but for me, I think that because there's no one's got an obvious candidate. People saying bring back Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp is like he's 88 years old. He hasn't managed in 10 years for a reason. Like Robbie Keane isn't going to leave where he is He's doing a really good job for a 6-month temporary job. And even if he did, you have to pay compensation. You're also going to have to pay a fortune in compensation to Thomas Frank and the entire coaching staff that's going to go with it. It'll be more chaos when the last thing you want is additional chaos. So I think you have to let this one play out a few more weeks. And then if it goes tits up and if other results go the other direction, then maybe you have to like pull the...
That's too late, Sean. That's too late.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But let's also just like bake in the idea here. Just because Carrick has had an immediate bounce, it doesn't mean that Man United are not going to like drop points against Fulham. I see all the United fans out there thinking that all of a sudden they're title challengers next season. They're hilarious. But just different doesn't mean better.
Sean, do you now... were you more confident going away to Man United in 2 weeks' time last week or now?
Well, no, last week, obviously. Yeah.
Right. So that means you think he is going to continue it?
No, it doesn't. I'm just saying that, like, as of right now, he's got 2 wonderful wins, but new manager bounces don't last. Manchester United
it's the way they're moving.
He's got better players as well. He doesn't have half his team out.
And
he hasn't had any time in reality to really implement any strategy. It's just a fresh face. Get rid of that staleness.
I disagree. It's the way he's got them moving the ball. The triangle 1-2 touch give and goes in midfield. They did the same to Man City. He's got them playing a different style, and the players prefer it. You can see it.
Sure.
We need that.
Sure, but there's also for me, like this whole new manager bounce thing for me is a regression back to where players should be, because most of the time, by the time that the manager is about to get sacked for consistently poor results, a lot of the team down tools a little bit.
That's fair.
I think if Tottenham win against Frankfurt, I think that right now you can see that there is a slight uptick and the players are preferring to play good football. Yes, it's not working out yet, but for me, I just think it's slightly too soon. I hear you that it's not perfect, right? Obviously, yes, if you wait 3 or 4 more weeks and then we still lose in the next 4 games, and Leeds and United, West Ham, all those teams, if they win, maybe there's a mistake. Maybe they're obviously with the benefit of hindsight. But for me right now, if you're looking at the risk reward of saying sack him with no obvious person to come in for 6 months, plus sack all of his coaching staff with no obvious replacements, that additional chaos is not going to do anyone any good at the football club.
It's chaos now. Sticking with it. Is chaos now sticking with it?
But doesn't mean that it's going to be less chaos by changing it.
No, but the thing is, if you know what you're getting now, so again, it comes down to, do we risk continuing down this path in the hope that it changes, or do we change the personnel in charge?
You change it to what?
To change it.
Change to what? That's the question. If you don't know, I don't know. If Johnny doesn't
know, you don't know. No one knows.
If nobody in the chat can throw up a decent answer other than Harry Redknapp, who's been out of football.
Mate, I'd get the under-21s manager Burnett in charge. I'd give him a crack at it, because you know what? This constant obsession, every single game of Vicario, you got to pass to Romero, you got to pass to Van de Ven. That has been coached. It's drilled into them. They're looking for it. This manager,
since Heiting has come in, haven't you seen a bit of a different approach to football?
It's too soon to say, because I saw the same nonsense.
Heiting has been here as long as Michael Carrick has.
Yeah, 2-game bounce. We've seen a lift.
But I've seen a big change at Man United, because they've gone and beaten two of the hardest teams in the country. Mate, not one team's gone to Arsenal and done what Man United did. Not one.
They've got all their players back. Mainu's suddenly in the team, and Buemo's back, right?
Mainu was dropped like Amorim, the same way Tell's been dropped by this manager.
What I'm trying to say to you is they have a better look, man for man. Their squad, what they've got available is way better than us. More of a threat up front. Right.
And what did they do when they came to White Hart Lane?
I'm just saying, but they've moved on from there because some of
the
these
managers
players
moved
weren't
it on.
playing.
The managers
but a lot
moved
of
it
the
on.
players weren't playing. They had
because of the manager, Johnny. We've got the same problem with Frank.
Who's our Michael Carrick?
Well, it was Michael Carrick, but
who's our Michael Carrick?
Can I just say, if you listen to what Gary, the guy we had on the other week, right, on the channel that can't be named, what he said was the amount of recruitment that Thomas Frank has done behind the scenes, because there was gaping holes in everything. Could you imagine how many people do you reckon would have to go? if he went.
Well, you
Sean.
don't have to sack them all. Have Man United sacked everyone at Man United when Amorim went, or did they keep?
Well, we're
some of the
still
people?
employing people. There's that many people. That's that because Levy had megalomania where there was.
Johnny, I don't mind keeping the coaches. I don't mind keeping all the coaches and all the backroom staff. I'm just saying
they're going to go with him.
Well,
they'll all go with him.
They came together. They leave together. You don't abandon your boss.
Well, you say that Conte left everyone behind when he went.
Yeah, look how he did. Stellini,
how did that work? How did that work out?
Yeah, but they weren't good enough. They weren't good enough either. Stellini was a joke.
Stellini's better than the under-21 manager that you just offered as a solution.
No, the under-21 manager we've got is better.
How do you know?
Mate, Burnley, go look at the work he's doing.
He plays under-21 level football. They barely even tackle each other.
Guardiola started as an under-21s manager. Everyone starts at a low level. Everyone.
You want to hand a relegation threat to a guy that's never played, that's never managed first-team football?
I don't want Frank to be in charge of it, is what I'm saying. I don't want Frank to be in charge.
But I'm asking you what the solution is, and all I'm seeing in the chat
if it was down to me, if I could have my way, right? If I could have my way, I would go to Alonso and say, buddy, I know in the summer you're probably going to be offered a better job elsewhere, and you're probably going to want it. But until then, here's a gig, £1 million a month. Come here to the end of the season, and at the end, if you want to stay, let's chat. But if you want to go, fine. It's in the contract.
So you're going to have a man come in who, if he gets relegated, he can fuck off anyway.
I'd have a man that come in that's better than Frank.
Yeah, but
I'd have a man come in better than Frank.
Of course, I would take.
You can't name him.
If Xabi Alonso was available right now, if Xabi Alonso was available right now, fine, sure, right. But you don't give him 6 months. You don't give him a 6 months try before you buy. You say you want to be here. You protect us from relegation. You don't give someone an get out of jail free card. If Xabi is available right now,
he might not want to come here long term. He might want to be here for 3 years.
You don't give him the job. You want some. If you're going to bring someone in, you don't want to give someone a 10 minute position.
You give someone the job. You give someone the job that's better than Frank until we can figure out as a club what we're going to do. Because right now, like Lubo said, Vinay, Charrington, Lange, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how.
If your solution is to give someone 6 months who's going to be moving to Liverpool, the entire time he's here, he's going to be talking to Liverpool. Come on, mate. We're not working in the realms of reality.
I don't want Frank here, and we're hemorrhaging points every single game.
Most people don't want Frank here. That's fine, but it's what do we do given the jeopardy we're in and the solutions you're offering for me? An under-21 manager is wildly stupid.
Whatever answer I give you, there's an excuse, right? If I say
not excuse, not excuse,
they're not reality.
It's a rebuttal.
Your reality, right? If I say Redknapp, too old. If I say Burnett, inexperienced. If I say Tim Sherwood, meh. If I say Alonso short term, but he's going to leave. Whatever I say, you're not going to accept, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just giving you my opinion. You don't have to win me over. You don't have to win me over. I'm just saying I don't think that your solutions are realistic or sensible.
Sean, what is happening at Tottenham isn't sensible right now. Nothing is sensible, right? There's no rational answer to the problem we're in because we've got irrational people making the decisions. We've got to think irrationally to get out of this mess. And for me, whatever we do is going to be a risk.
It is.
Crazy times equals crazy solutions. Let's give Boris the tea lady the job. That'll do it.
I've got to listen.
No, not Boris. No, not a tea lady.
Still, I agree. For me, I think Frank's. I mean, it's 2 wins in 14. We're 8. Since for the last 14 games, we are 18th in the table, which is relegation form. Which is since Everton, since Chelsea. But the problem you've got, Wolves brought Rob Edwards in, didn't work. United brought Amorim in last season. Didn't work. Look where they were when he came in with Ten Hag mid-table. They finished 16th, 15th.
Yeah, no bounce. No bounce there.
And the problem is, and who do you bring in? Do you bring Defoe in? Do you actually go to the States and say we want Pochettino in to split the job? For me, I would do that.
Never going to happen.
They're going to say no to that as well. Whatever you say,
it's never going to happen. I'm going to say no to obvious common sense. Come on now.
Everything we say, no.
You think the US MNT is going to go? Yeah, go on then. Go on then. How about
You are
manager
such
for
a
few months?
fraud. No, Sean Butler, you are getting called out. Clip it. Johnny, time it. This man is a fraud. He claims to be a contrarian, but dismisses contrarian thinking. Sean, you are a fraud. You fraud. Fraud.
On that basis, I better give myself something.
Look what just happened. My man was totally cooked. His waffle, simply awful. You've been stinker and hooked.
Johnny, clip it. Clip it.
Let's do some super chats. Guys, please don't forget to smash the like. There's 1,500 people here. Please do hit the like button. I don't know what the likes are on, but they must be able to be better than what they are. A bit like Tottenham, unless you give Stell the reins and let him dictate how we go for the next 3 months. And then it's chaos, crazy solutions.
Chaos is out.
Big up to Adam Horlock. Big up to you, my man. Become a new member of the channel. Big up to you, buddy. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. I'm still waiting for Semenyo, by the way. You promised me Semenyo on the 1st of September, Adam. What happened there, my man? What happened there? Absolutely muddied. Big up to you, Adam. Appreciate you joining the show, mate. He's also put in a super sticker. And with the super sticker train, the first super sticker train gets a choo-choo. Big up to you, mate. Choo-choo to you, buddy. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate you very much. Can't believe I just gave myself the cooking vibe just for a clip. Absolutely shameful. Coy's whole Spurs. Big up to you. He says Frank and whoever are just small pieces in the problem of Spurs. The main problem is ENIC. They need to go now, otherwise the championship is looming. Yeah, ENIC aren't going to be selling in the next 3 months, mate. So listen, I feel your sentiment, but that's not changing anytime soon. And for those of you that think that if we get relegated, then they'll just go, oh, let's fuck it, let's get out of here. They won't, because they'll get pennies in the pound on their valuation, and they'll know that the likelihood is that Tottenham will come straight back up, and they'll get closer to full valuation again. So, anyone that's rooting for relegation as a means to remove the ownership is silly. But big up to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. He's come back in with another one. Big up to you, mate. Very generous as well. He says, unless the greedy ones don't provide a miracle in the next week, we are in trouble. If we go down, 75% of the players will leave, and a very hard league to get back out of is waiting for us. Quick question from you guys. Who is the most senior player that would stay and go down with the ship? Just one name. If we went down.
Ben Davies.
Ben Davies. Even though he's out injured with a broken leg.
Mate, he's not leaving Tottenham. He's never
leaving Tottenham. No. What would the book club do? Lubo, I was not calling you Hugo. Lubo, who would you think is the most senior player that would go down with the ship?
Archie Gray.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, fuck me.
Everyone else would leave, right? If Tottenham got relegated, it would be the biggest relegation.
I think the senior pros would be looking for an out, definitely. All the senior pros.
Lubo, to be fair to you, Archie Gray, Championship's his level, so he'll thrive.
Yeah, exactly. Do well there. Yeah.
He'll be man of the season next year.
Yeah, bring back Manor Solomon. He'll get you 25 goals again. Johnny, mate, what's your top senior, the most high quality or senior person at Tottenham that would go down with the ship?
Vinay.
He's the one person we want a release fee for, Unbelievable.
Listen, look, can I just say the one thing that this might bring on is Vivian and all the rest of them. They probably the person that's sitting on his couch laughing his head off right now is Daniel. Apart from the fact that they're trying to dilute him out of existence at the moment. I think that they never realised just how shitty this could get, and it might make them reevaluate their position at the club. Do we really need this? We're billionaires, right? We got property empires, we've got hotel empires. We've got 200 companies within the Tavistock group. Do we really need this? Let's sell up and get out of town. We've made a huge sums of money. We've made billions out of it. Let's get out. If it gets it's toxic right now, and right now it's Thomas Frank that's taking 90% of the flack, not the board. I've not heard anyone say, ENIC out, get out of our club, sell the club. All I've heard is Thomas
Only
Frank.
online.
And what I'm trying to say to you is, when I look still at the 43 league defeats since that Chelsea game. That is just unacceptable, no matter who's the manager. And it's because the players aren't good enough. 43. I can't actually believe I'm saying 43 defeats in 2 years. It's just like mental.
But at the same time, we've had one manager that refused to defend, like categorically refused to defend. And then we've had another manager.
and we've transferred the entire squad since that Conte stat around Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Palace, and whoever it was, and Fulham have had more points than us. The squad isn't good enough. We've transitioned 85% of the squad in that time.
And we've now got a manager for who most part of the season has been too scared to go for it, like just too petrified to take the risks in certain aspects of the game. So we're crying out for a balanced manager, someone that can attack but not
balanced on the pitch,
defense.
but unbalanced in the press room. That's why I want my man De Zerbi in. Bring me Roberto De Zerbi. Chaos. You want chaos still? There, we're gonna have some chaos there. It'll be so much fun.
There you go. Get him in. I'm all for it.
Let's get Bookie TV. Big up to you, my man. He says every Spurs manager takes the blame, but none control recruitment or squad depth. Our head coach is hired to lead projects or absorb failure.
Good point.
That's a great question. It's a great question. And I think you're probably right there. You know, I think that none of us talk about Rob McKenzie enough. We need to talk about that geezer. We need to talk about that. He doesn't. No one mentions his name. We need to talk about Rob McKenzie. He's the guy that's scouting these players. Big up to you, Bookie. Great point, mate. Levy gone. All of Enoch next says he's from Australia. Big up to you, my man. If only you were in the UK, mate, we would have had 151 people at the protest. He said, I said when we signed Gallagher, he will be a squad clogger in 2 years. I was wrong. It will be 6 months until we are looking to sell and upgrade. Useless signing. Let's give him a chance, mate. He's a good player. Let's give him a chance. It's 2 games, bro. It's 2 games, you know. But big up to you, mate. Thank you very much. Very generous super chat as well, mate. Appreciate you. Must be up. Must be early for you over there, man. Depends where you are, I guess, in Australia. Big up to you, Levy's gone. All of Enoch next. Big up to you. Adam scored Drawlocks back in the game again. Still hasn't told me what happened to Semenyo. I was promised Semenyo. He said, I want to ask the panel honestly, individually, do you remember a manager that had to deal with as much nonsense as Thomas Frank? Bear in mind that he took over.
No.
I think he has inherited a hell of a lot of the past year's frustrations, for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
It wasn't the problem pre-season. It wasn't the problem back in September.
Well, it was apparently behind the scenes. I'm talking about Stel. When he arrived there was gaping holes in like the setup for everything, which they've been trying to address over the last months. They're still
on the
doing
pitch.
it
It was
now.
okay. Though. On the pitch, it was all right. We looked good pre-season. We looked solid against Burnley and City, and it was all right. No one was complaining.
Kulu's elusive right foot. Big up to you, by the way, Adam. Kulu's elusive right foot. Big up to you, mate. He says signings coming after European games next week. Well, I hope so. I did say this back in. I said it most of the autumn. I said it's a weird January because the last final game of the European League is like 2 or 3 days later than it was last year. And last season, which was the first season when the Champions League wasn't finished by the January window, there was a massive amount of signings that happened. I think 80% of all the signings that took place in the Premier League took place in the final 4 days. So there might be some more chaos. But again, that just reeks back to opportunity rather than strategy, which is part of the problem, I guess. Big up to you, mate. Adam's back in again. Big up to you, Adam. He says, only reason I'm Frank in, I want Poch in the summer. There you go. A lot of people feel that way. Like I say, it's a wet market in the summer.
Can I ask you guys a question? Would Pochettino come to Spurs in the summer if we were in the Championship?
Oh, no. His loyalties are they're so deep, but not that deep. Not Championship level deep. I don't know what you do if we get relegated.
Honest question. I don't know if he would.
We shall see. See how he gets on at the World Cup first. If they get to the last 8 or something, he's probably got bigger fish to fry. Big up to you there, Adam. Thank you very much. Dean Lord, Chudini, always supporting with the super sticker, mate. Choo to you. Thank you very much, Dino. Hope you're well. Hope you're okay, my man. Ulrika Kaka Ratatata says our performances have vastly improved since Kudus is injured. Coincidence?
It's only the last 2 games we've looked better going forward, unless I've missed something.
No, last two.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a stretch. But then, to be honest, Stell tried to put the idea across earlier on that Tottenham lost to West Ham, drew to Burnley when we had Conor Gallagher, and won against Dortmund when we didn't. And he tried to make that summary that Conor Gallagher.
I'm telling you, it's Gallagher.
Big up to you. Big up to you, Ulrika. I love the conspiracies on this channel. Ant London says all the energy of the entire fan base needs to be Enoch out. Change for Tottenham must be rebranded. It's unclear what their message actually is.
1 minute. Levy out was rebranded. Now we're asking to rebrand the rebrand.
Yeah. It's a pre-brand. We go back to the previous brand. We're going to pre-brand it. Yeah, listen, I think there's another. I haven't seen it, but I think there's a change for Tottenham statement out today. Is that right, Lubo? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Was it? What
can
was it
I just say, guys, as someone who's been protesting for 6 years, Enoch out, Levy out, I just don't believe in my heart we're going to get the numbers, guys. I just don't. The appetite from our fan base just isn't there to go against the board. It's just not there. And I don't want to even admit that. I'm just being honest. That last gathering we had, it was
fair enough.
So I think so. The fans who follow YouTubers like us. There were plenty of YouTubers in that 150, 200 the other Saturday. I think they care.
I think we made up 25% of the crew, mate, because we were always out.
And I was just in the pub.
Burnley away. There was 2,500 fans chanting, "We want Frank out." Sacked in the morning. Not one Enoch out.
That's what I mean.
Out.
Yeah.
Not one.
And yet,
not one chant against the board. Nothing.
But yeah, they were doing that last season, right? The way we were doing that last season. So
yeah. Well, yeah.
Interesting. Gerald Goldsmith, big up to you. Thank you very much. Haven't seen your name before, but I appreciate you. He says we need a goal scorer and a left winger. If we don't get anyone in the next 6 days, we're going down. Full stop. Mark my words. Yeah, look. Well, at least some of the other clubs that are around us, Gerald, are throwing money at the problem, and I don't know. I'm still not going to change my mind though. Like, if you bring me someone like a Somerville and sign him on a 5-year deal, no, not for me.
Somerville's not the answer. Somerville's not the answer. No.
But that's the level of player that you're probably. I mean, obviously, we know we'd like to see. Sorry, Johnny, we put you on mute. We'd like to see. Adamodo Lukman come in. He still hasn't left, by the way. I thought he was gone. I thought he was gone to Turkey, but he still hasn't gone anywhere. Tim Man 007.
We're not going to get him.
No, not going to get him. Tim Man says, just imagine that this board have decided to stick with Frank and we don't buy any attacking players. You may as well tell the fans to get ready for the championship. Suicidal. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Hope that hasn't just demonetized us. And unthinkable. Yeah.
That's Vinay's next program statement.
Big up to you, Tim Man. Listen, 5 days. No, a week. We got a week left. So we'll see. Well, I think there'll be someone else coming in outside of Robertson, but whether he's a good player or not, who knows? Don't think it will satisfy. Danny Kiriaku's coming in for Stell. He says Stell equals so delusional. He lives in a fantasy.
I love you too, Danny. I love you too.
Green bar's good. Red bar's bad. Big up to you, Danny. Appreciate you, mate. Love you, buddy. Luke Wardle says Jesus Perez interim to assess the squad for Poch. We had this one earlier, didn't we, Johnny? Yeah, I'll take you off mute.
Yes, I'm being muted tonight. Yes, we did. Look, Jesus normally turns up at April, but in an emergency, he might come early.
Brilliant stuff. Big up to you, Luke. Thank you very much, mate. Everton have just equalised, by the way. Or at least maybe I'm 2 minutes behind you lot, but I see it on IPTV. James 119 with a super sticker. Big up to you, mate. Choo to you, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Very generous. A massive generous one from Sanilla. And with that one, man, when you get those sorts of size super stickers, you get an additional choo for you. There it is. Actually, mate, thank you very much indeed. I wish we could show the actual super stickers. We can never see what they're referencing on StreamYard. Thank you so much, mate. Very generous, and it's not the first time you've done that as well. You often give a generous super sticker. Adam's back in again. Adam, very generous tonight. Poch coming back to Spurs in the Championship is like me going back to an ex with a leg missing. God, where are we going with this one? And no hair after she hurt me.
Fucking hell, Adam.
I ought to say, Adam, you've had more magnums than I have tonight, I think.
I've got to say, Adam, are you a journalist, by the way?
I want to know about his relationships.
Yeah,
Very descriptive. Very
descriptive. Yeah. Did you ask AI for that? And then Grok said, "Sorry, we can't give you that. Write it yourself." Big up to you. Thank you very much.
Grok made an image. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. And then Desto, big up to you, Desto. He says, Lubo is my hero. He's magic, you know. Backdoor Lubo. Backdoor Lubo, that's what we're calling him. He doesn't want to be called Backdoor Lubo. He says, Sean, please don't call me Backdoor Lubo. It's going to stick. You don't get to pick your nicknames, Lubo.
Horrible, sir. I can't say on there, can I? But it's, you know what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying, Matt. I do know what you're saying.
Back room, Lubo. I was in the back room, by the way. I was in the back room. That's more accurate is the right word. Would you not say?
You snuck in via the back door.
Yeah.
Been Luboed. Absolutely Luboed this morning. Let's get back to the chat, guys. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. They're very generous from everybody. Please do smash the like and subscribe, and notification buttons as well should be squeezed.
Sean, you mentioned the CFT Change for Tottenham statement today, where they have announced that they are having another protest before the City game.
Let's see if I can bring it up. Change for. Go on.
Again, we're talking about everybody's had that basically just under a week's notice. Personally, I would have held it back till the Arsenal game because I think there'll be great attraction for that. If we have the sort of February that we think we're going to have, then Arsenal would be the right day to be having it, and it's after the transfer window because you don't know.
You can't do it on North London Derby Day. That's the one day we just have to. This happened last time. But when you play Arsenal, it's all about beating Arsenal that day. It doesn't work.
It says here we are 25 days into the January window and we have yet to significantly improve our first team. We have sold Johnson and encountered long-term injuries to Kudus, Bentancur, Richarlison, Bergvall and Davies this month, whilst also still missing Maddison and Kulusevski. We welcome the signing of Connor, Gallagher and Sousa, but this is simply not enough after being told by the board we were ready to be ambitious and prioritise trophies after Daniel Levy left the club. At the time of writing, the club is currently sitting 14th in the league, and after finishing 17th last season, it was clear the squad needed serious investment. We have picked up just 3 points from our last 5 games against Brentford, Sunderland, Bournemouth, West Ham and Burnley. We are currently 8 points above the relegation zone with teams beneath us showing a turn in form, and we have a very difficult run of Premier League fixtures in February. This January transfer window so far has been a disaster, and we are calling on the board to take action to improve our first team after having 4 months to plan for this. We are planning action against City at home on February the 1st, and we need your support. We are reaching out to some of the most influential names in the Spurs community to try and gain as much backing as possible. Please join our new WhatsApp channel by scanning the QR code below for further updates. And as always, please share this statement far and wide. He hasn't reached out to, they haven't reached out to Spurs 5, Spurs Talk Show. I don't know, have they reached out to Spurs Corner? Have they reached out to Football Inc? I don't think they have they? So I guess we're not in the influential few. But listen, good luck to them. Always supporting them. There's the WhatsApp QR code if you want to join it. Put your camera on the screen now. And we don't know what their details are.
Right, so I've just scanned the QR code, and there's 720 people in the chat following this group, but only 100 turned up to the protest. So something doesn't make sense here.
Well, a lot of them are not going to be in London, right? Also, I'm not going to scan that. I don't want 700 people having my telephone number.
Or even in the country, Sean. Or even in the country.
Yeah, of course. I genuinely think that a lot of people that support these protests and things are
Sean, it's all privately blocked. You can't talk in the chat, and no one can see anyone's number. It's all everything. Only they can see in the chat and view people.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, good luck to that. Good luck to them. If I'm going to the game on Saturday or Sunday, is it? I'll definitely definitely rock up with my flip-flop costume once again. Let's talk about the game tomorrow night, guys, and then we'll finish off with the transfer stuff. Johnny, I'll come to you. Frankfurt, big game, right? It is a big game. It's a nice distraction as well, but we have to get this one right. What's your thoughts on it, my man?
Well, my first. Look, I don't know. Look,
where are your tickets? I've got loads of tickets because no one wants to go anymore.
We have so many tickets. Look, they aren't playing well at the moment. They've sold Mamouche. They've sold Ekitike. The replacements haven't done well. I would look. It's not an easy place to go. I've got to tell you, it's quite fierce there. The atmosphere was quite sort of edgy. The support is absolutely mental. I thought it was better than Dortmund, if you want my honest opinion. When I was there last time, sort of old school, hold up the scarves, tifos. But look, they're out. But they would like to get revenge for what happened last year. And I think they will be up for the game. They've got nothing to lose. Nothing. And they've got money to win because there's, was it 2 million now for a win?
1.8 million, yeah.
1.8 million, which they could do with. I don't think it's going to be easy. I really don't. But we should have enough, surely, to win this game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I don't think it's going to be easy, though. I really don't. What I'm worried about, if I'm brutally honest, is that Solanke is going to get injured. You can't be out for months and months and months and come back and do, 30 minutes, 45 minutes and 90 in 3 games. It's an accident waiting to happen. Just the same as I said to you, that why are they playing Richie, overplaying Richie and resting Mawani? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's going to end in tears, and unfortunately it did. We can't afford that again. So I would be tempted. We can't start with Matthias Tell because he's not in the squad. So I would be tempted to start Mawani as a false 9 or play him up as the 9 and have Solanke on the bench and hope that he can play his way into getting a move. Listen, Stel, I've got to be honest with you. I'm happy for him to go. My concern is, are we going to have... Maybe we shouldn't even be thinking about the Champions League. Maybe you're all right and I'm wrong. Maybe we shouldn't even be worrying about not having a striker for the Champions League and just be concentrating on... a striker. But do we want a striker just for the now, or do we want a striker that's going to be there for the next 3 or 4 years? I think Mateta is a striker for now, not really for the next 3 or 4 years. But I'd certainly take him.
I'm not against Mateta. I'm not against Mateta at all. I don't know if he's consistent enough. I don't know if he's consistent enough, but.
Do you remember the one we had before? Listen, before Glasner came, he couldn't hit a barn door. I mean, I used to have the conversation with my mate, with Eze, would set him up. And he was shocking. He couldn't hit anything. Eze set him up over and over again. But now, last season, he was very, very good. This season, apparently, he's playing with a bit of a knee injury.
The thing is, I rate Glasner, though. I actually rate him. I think he's a very, very good manager. I know Crystal Palace this season, it's gone tits up, but he's lost all his best players. He's lost Guay as well now. He's going to lose Mateta. He's given up. Glasner's just realised the ball.
So why don't we go for him? Right. So if you would say to me, right,
I would take him now. I would.
Yeah. We turn around to Paris and say, look, we're going to give you 10 million, right, for Glasner. I would take him. Right, if that's your option, I don't
50 million for Glasner and Mateta.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much.
80 million for Glasner, Mateta, and Munoz. What? 180 million quid for Glasner, Mateta, Munoz, and Wharton.
You can keep Parish.
Mate, I would just take Wharton and Glasner.
I'd take Henderson. I'd take anything. Honestly.
Should we just all go and support Crystal Palace, guys? Palace talk shows coming up. Palace talk shows.
They might go down, you know. Palace might go down.
Yeah,
they're in complete free fall. They're in. The wheels have come off there big time.
Where's Munoz? They need Muniz back.
Yeah, they've fallen off since Ismail Sarr going to the AFCON and Munoz's injury screwed up their season for sure.
Mate, and then Gueye being sold to Man City.
Yeah.
That's a top player they've lost there. Glasner announcing, I'm done with this club. I mean, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. What are you saying about Frankfurt?
We'll beat them 2-0. I'm not even worried about it because I get you get an extra 1.5 and 1.8 million for being a bit higher up in the table, but you get more by qualifying for Europe next season. And Frankfurt have still got a league table where they can get into a European place. They should be putting all their eggs in their league, focusing on the league.
They got a big game again. They had Hoffenheim on the weekend, and now they've got Leverkusen on the Saturday. So that's a big game.
Yeah, I mean, if I was them, I'd put the B team out. You're not going to qualify for the Champions League. Just I don't. I'll tell you what. If we don't beat them in the position we're in now, serious questions have got to be asked because I don't think they're going to turn up to this game, guys. I don't. I think they're just going to they'll put a team out because they have to. I don't think they're really bothered about this game now. I actually think it's an inconvenience for them. I think it's an inconvenience. Whereas they
lost at home to Hoffenheim, my club Hoffenheim, by the way, on the weekend, and their team is like, I'm looking at it. They've got Callum Owendo, who's a decent striker, and Can Uzun, who's a player that Tottenham are looking at, or have been looking at, and they've got Nathaniel Brown. So they're dangerous down the right. They're dangerous down their left-hand side, but. Yeah, they've got Koch, Chaby, Sakiri, Amenda, Nissen. Like these guys, Doan. Like these guys are like not top players.
Like, someone in the chat said you said the same against West Ham, but West Ham have got something to play for. They're fighting for their lives. West Ham have got before they played Tottenham, they had 16, 17 games to play to fight for their survival. Frankfurt have got nothing to play for in this game. I genuinely think we go there, we win it by a couple of goals and come home and we automatically qualify for the Champions League next round. If we don't, I mean, where does that leave us, man? Another 2 games in February in an already difficult period. I don't know. We have to win it. For me, we have to win this game. We must. Yeah,
it's a cheeky 1.5 million or 1.8 million if we do in revenue, plus qualification through to the last 16 is another, I think it's another 10 or 11 million quid. Plus you get.
I think Johnny that said that if we go into the playoffs in the Champions League, the extra 2 Champions League games are either side of the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking disaster. That is.
Yeah.
It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
We can't have
and by the way, I think there's 8 teams that are 1 point behind us.
Yeah.
We have to win this game.
We've got to win.
We have to win. Yeah.
I think we win it. I do think we.
Lubo, what's your take on the game, my man?
They're a funny team, Frankfurt. I mean, they started off the Champions League group stages by beating Galatasaray 5-1. I think they lost to Atletico next 5-1 as well, and that was September. Since their first game, they have scored 5. They scored 5 in the first game. They've scored 5 in the next 6 and conceded 18, and got 1 point out of 15. So, and you look at their record in the league, they're mid-table, they're 8th, they're 9 points off a Champions League place. So you're right, if they still have aspirations to get into the top 4, then they should be resting players this week. I mean, the interesting thing about...
They're 5 points off Europe, though. They're 5 points off
fine,
Europe.
But you're talking about the Conference League.
I'm talking about... Europa there... 8 points. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you would think they would rest players. They've lost Marmoush. They lost Ekitike. They've scored. They've played 27 games. They've scored 50 goals this season, which is nearly 2 a game. But they've conceded 62. They are wide open.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that will play into Spurs' hands. I'm sure a lot of those 62 goals are going to be dead balls. I'm sure Romero and Van der Ven quite possibly will have a field day on Wednesday, and I can see a high-scoring win. I think we saw, it'd be 3-1, 3-2. but I do think we'll get through. And I think, you know, Frankfurt may well have a third of the ground empty because there's nothing to play for. You know, for me, they've got bigger fish to fry rather than, you know, getting their own back on Spurs for last season. I do think we'll win it, but I think, you know, hopefully Romero would not have injured himself by booting in the advertising board on Saturday after he scored. And what a goal that was! I mean, that was a bullet header, wasn't it? I do think we'll win. Can I just sort of jump back? There was just one thing I wanted to say that I didn't say when right at the start of the show when we were talking about the Burnley game. And I just hope that this is not. I just hope they change it up on Wednesday night because Vicario took a lot of stick for that first goal. We were 5 yards outside their penalty area with the ball, and there was no reason for that ball to go back to Vicario. It was ridiculous, just ridiculous, and it's just wrong. We've got to be better than that. We've got to be more progressive than that. You know, Vicario, a minute from half time, you know, you go in, you just consider, you know, you're one up, should I say. You don't want to concede. Keep the ball, hold the ball, do whatever you got to do. Play it off somebody for a throw-in, but keep possession. Do not keep pushing the ball back. 3 passes and Vicario had it. Ridiculous. Then Romero took his half the ball. Then nobody closed down Walker. And then we got 3 centre-backs, and not one of them is marking the guy that scores the goal. So the whole thing was a complete shit show. But it's poor going. It really is poor. We've got to tighten up Wednesday. We're giving away silly goals again, aren't we? Brighton 2, just crazy goals. Most of the goals that we have conceded this season have been down to unforced errors. Most of them. I can't remember many worldies against us. Buendia and
Morgan Rogers have scored
against Villa were 2, but I can't remember too many more. You know, we haven't. So. Spurs to win Wednesday.
A quick predictions on that, and then we'll just spend the last 15 minutes just talking a bit about some transfer updates and things. Johnny, I'll bring you back in, mate. So again, I know you've had a miserable show when you got to be on mute. I've been in that position a few times, mate. Sorry. We got to fix it for tomorrow morning. We got to fix it.
Okay.
What's your score prediction, buddy?
I'm gonna go 2-1 to Spurs. Look, I do see some shoots of something different, right? And I'm going to say this again. I know Heitinger got a lot of shit saying he's crap. He was at Ajax. I was a massive Arne Slot fan. So I knew about Heitinger when he was at Feyenoord. He was a key element at his backroom staff. You know, Feyenoord had it really tough, got thrown out. A lot of their players sold underneath him, didn't want to lose the players. He's gone there and he's gone to Liverpool. He's had a really good time there. He's left. And against all the advice given to him by his agent not to take the Ajax job, sentiment got the better of him and he went to the job and it was a shit show. But maybe I'm...
Sorry, Heitinger was never at Feyenoord.
He was at Feyenoord.
No, it wasn't. He was at their rivals, Ajax.
I know he was at Ajax, but I'm sure he was at Feyenoord with him. No? Okay. Right. Well, I believe that his football has definitely helped somewhat. I'm not going to disbelieve what I've been reading about, what's been said from the Liverpool perspective, from the Athletic, talking about his influence on the players. And I wonder whether or not that's the reason why we have been linked with Curtis Jones and why we've been linked with Andy Robertson, that he still has a relationship with them. I'm surmising, I don't know. But I think those 2 games that I've seen, ball passing much quicker than it has been nearly the whole season, apart from the Man City game, and better transitions. If I see it in the 3rd game, I maybe start to believe that we are moving away from that turgid shit that we've been watching for a quite considerable amount of time. So I'd like to see a convincing win on Wednesday, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spurs win.
Okay. Lubo?
You see a lot of goals in these games right at the death, where everybody plays at the same time and everybody's fighting and scrapping, and they're wide open games because most teams have got to go and win. I think there'll be a lot of goals generally through the Champions League Wednesday nights, and I think it'll be 3-2 Spurs.
Stel?
2-0 Tottenham. I think Frankfurt are done. They've got nothing to play for. We've got everything to play for. So I think we go there, we get a 2-0 win and we qualify automatically.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0. I think Tottenham will win 1-0. I think, Frankfurt, finito. Last question, guys. Last little take then for the last 5 or 10 minutes. Obviously, the transfer window is threadbare. However, there was a bunch of rumours out this morning. They were all laughable, right? We apparently made a move, or we phoned up PSG and inquired about getting Kang In Lee on loan. And the answer was, it was so funny the way it was written. PSG responded swiftly and decisively to say, no. No, we are not interested in loaning him. Apparently, we've also gone after Buongiorno of Napoli fame. And apparently, he's only available in the summer. Apparently, we've gone after Dusan Vlahovic. And Vlahovic is waiting until the summer. Like, I've got to ask you.
Sean?
Sorry?
Is that how you pronounce it? Chouamani from Real Madrid?
Chouameni, yeah, of Real Madrid fame.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Like, it's 86 million we've offered, according to the reports. 86 million we've offered.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You could offer him 860 million, and he still wouldn't come.
Carl Foster from Burnley, the guy that scored against us. Just bring him in.
I mean, look, you've got to ask. By the way, Norwich have beaten Coventry in the Championship as well tonight. You have to. It begs the question, right? I know I don't want to get sort of this stage of the show. I don't want to go back into moaning and stuff, but the inquiries at this stage in the January window, if there's anything I know, Stel, you don't believe in the rumours and stuff, and that's fine. There's probably a lot of it's just made up or whatever, but it begs the question of what is the profiling? And I want to bring in this guy, Scott McKenzie. Oh, sorry, not Scott McKenzie, Rob McKenzie. We've got nobody talks about him. He is our head of scouting. He's the guy that goes and watches the tape, that goes around the world looking at players. His team goes and finds this, that, and the other. And then they come back and go, oh, Johan, we think we found the perfect fit. Oh, who's that? Kang In Lee. Okay, that's interesting. Let's go and give them a call. And given a short, sharp, swift rejection. Are we profiling players and also considering whether or not they actually want to come to Tottenham Hotspur, or is Rob McKenzie just wasting time looking at the tape of players that are just never going to come to Tottenham? Like Chouameni is never going to come to Tottenham. And by the way, if you are a scout and you have to go and look him up to know whether he would be brilliant at Tottenham, then I question your footballing knowledge. But if you are also a scout who thinks that that's worth putting together in a thesis and giving to Johan Lang, I also question what level of reality you're operating in. It's bonkers. Anyone want to take on this one?
Whole thing's a joke. It's a complete mess. They've got to. For me, I'd get rid of Lang, get rid of this guy. Bring in some proper people. We've
like who? Campos, Mitchell.
Well, there's two names. If Poch comes back, would Mitchell come and join him now that Levy's gone? Quite possibly. He's out of work still, isn't he, Mitchell? He hasn't got another job since Newcastle.
Listen, so, I heard that when the Don was there before his departure and before Lang came in, they had a guy who offered his services, a data guy, and it was very impressive. And what used to happen was they would tell what position they wanted, and they would look at players, which is how they found some of the players that they had, whether it be Papasar, Destiny, or whoever. But apparently, Johan Lang goes in reverse. He finds a player and then asks the guys to run the data on him. That's not identifying a player. That's you identifying a player and say, guys, run the data on this. Look, you might as well do a Danny Rose, right? Get Danny Rose in, just to type something into the Google, because right now, look, you could have bought Igor Jesus, right? Look how good he is. I'm surprised they're going for Mateta, because Igor Jesus, look how well he took his goal the other night. Again, he's a real handful. He's a real tenacious, nasty little striker, which I love. But they're still looking for more. They're looking for better. Igor Thiago, you know, from Club Bruges. Why aren't we scouting these players? Why aren't we scouting the players, you know, that are 25 and 30 million, that are 24, 25 before they become 80 million or 75 million pound players? That is scouting, not what we're doing. Not overpaying for Dom Solanke at 65 million or Brennan Johnson at 47 million, and so on and so on and so on. You know, we have overpaid on so many players and got jack shit for it. Matthias Tell, 35 million. Come on.
I've got to tell you, Johnny, I went to a trust evening with David Pleat when his book came out. And somebody spoke to Pleat about data analysis, because he was saying that he had been scouting and going and watching players for Spurs. And Pleat's got a lifetime of experience. And, you know, for me, you go and watch players. I mean, I went round to, I was having treatment with Venable's old physio, and he showed me, he didn't show me the player, but he showed me a scouting report that he put together. And he was going out watching the same player week after week after week. At the time.
You can't watch worldwide though, Lubo. That works on a local level. It works. Listen, I've been around them.
But look, hang on. But look at Chelsea. Look at Chelsea's recruitment team. They've got 4 people globally.
Yeah, plus the data. 4 people. They got more than 4. They got 4 overseers. They've got people underneath. There's a whole tier system plus the data. We're a shit show, right? We're a shit show as far as that's concerned. How many players have we unearthed? Show me. Show me all the players that we've unearthed. Where's Aristavo?
Via data analysis, John. Is that what you're saying?
Via a combination. Look, we signed Ndombele, right, for the money, but we didn't do our due diligence to know that his character was shit before he even got there. If you'd have asked anybody and done due diligence, that's what Brighton do. Brighton don't just look at the data. They identify the data, right, for the player. Then they look at the background, the family background. Can he speak the language? And a whole series of metrics. It's not just about the player. Look at a player like Jadon Sancho and some of these other players who got given, Reece Nelson, God-given talent, but they piss it up the wall because they'd rather be out on a night out. Okay? And that's the difference. There are true professionals who graft and work at their game, and there are others who've got outside interests. We just can't get it right. I'm sorry. We just don't get it right. I don't remember the last one we got right.
But, you know, Johnny, you get an idea. You see a player's character. You see their professionalism week after week. You go and watch them.
Conor Gallagher's one such example, right? But people are already questioning that particular signing after 2 games.
Well, I don't know. That's just madness.
You know, players that
that's not what we need now. That's why.
Players that give 100% in whatever weather, against whatever opposition, whether they're playing out of position or not, whatever the score is during a game, you get an idea of a player's character very quickly. And and if you watch that player several times, this is what Pleat was saying. He said the whole thing swung too much towards data analysis and too much away from actually going and watching the player play.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with data analysis if it's done correctly. Spurs don't do
it is spoiling the game still. Like you saw on.
Sure, we don't do it the right way. That's why we don't.
No, not us. I mean, just it's spoiling the game generally, right? Like for example, like all managers sit there and criticize their players if they dare to have the audacity to take a shot from 22 yards because the XG, the probability of it going in is so low that you have better outcomes if you find someone in the box, if you pass someone in the box.
Correct.
So that they're spoiling the game by, and you know what, Manchester United and Arsenal are the biggest advocates of this whole philosophy of moving towards, you know, set pieces, incremental gains, all this bollocks, and every player, and especially like the kind of the way that people have figured out possession-based football and people that sit in the half space and sit on the zonal marking. Well, you know what, the way that you get around the zonal marking is to sit on the edges of the zones, and then the defenders will sit there and say it wasn't my zone, it was your zone. And so the way that people sort of navigated away from that was to then go to man-to-man press. And then in order to do man-to-man press effectively across the entire team, you then need everybody to be 6 foot, everybody to be strong, everybody to be fast, because you're just chasing people around the pitch. And then so you're basically just creating robots. You're just saying, I don't care how good you are at technicality. The game has swung in this direction. And now everybody is just 6'2" and Joel Linton wannabes. Right? And it's spoiled it. But then 1 second, Lou, let me finish my rant. Manchester United yesterday decided to sort of throw that out the window, and you had Patrick Dorgu do something that was absolutely sensational, and then you had Cunha something which we don't see that anymore. Like how often?
That's because you've got a manager there that knows how to balance all the tools. People that go full on data analysis, data metrics, you're going to be trapped in the bubble that you just mentioned. Those that go all out on the eye, well, you're ignoring important data. You can't just ignore the data.
Sure.
Look, I did my talent ID badges because I did a little bit of scouting, okay, but I never did the high level talent ID. And I'll tell you what I was taught. When you're looking for a player, there's 5 key areas you look at: the tactical nous of the player, the psychological side of the player, which I'll talk to you guys about that because that's the hardest one to suss out. The technical, the physical, and the social dynamic of the player, how he communicates and interacts with his players. And you look at all these 5 metrics. So the technical is easy. You can see if a player's got technique or not. Physicality is another easy one to see. Socially, it's a bit harder. You have to watch a lot of games and really observe the communication and interaction when he's on the bench, on the pitch. Tactical, again, if you know what kind of player you're looking for, you can see whether they're tactically capable or not. The psychological one is the hardest part because you can look at a player and think, oh, they've got leadership skills. They've got leadership skills. Psychologically, this guy carries the team. But have you watched them when they're 2-0 down what he does? Have you watched them when it's raining?
That's right.
The pitch isn't quite what you want? Have you watched them then? Have you watched them when they're 3-0 up? Do they go back to casual mode or do they keep pushing? So the psychological one is a really difficult one
That's why Anthony Gordon is a player that Tottenham Hotspur should have got years ago rather than getting Richarlison. I speak about this all the time with Johnny. We say it all the time on the channel that can't be named. But Anthony, when Tottenham played Everton 3 years ago under Conte and they came to our house, and we were 4-0 up, I think it was at halftime. Anthony Gordon, we ended up winning the game 5-0. Anthony Gordon, not only is he technically very gifted, not only is he tactically very astute and can play in a variety of positions, his heart is the strongest part of his game. He never lets his guard down. He never lets his game drop, no matter what the score. He was chasing down shadows and blind alleys at 5-0 down. It was unbelievable.
Sure, the only question that's psychological. See, at Spurs, I don't know what criteria our scouts are told to follow. Right, I'm giving you what the FA taught me. I don't know what our scouts. What criteria do you follow? It'll be some of what I've said, and it'll be some other bits to suit the club. But
bad set criteria.
You know, for me, the one thing we should be looking for a lot more that I clearly can see we're not looking at enough is speed. The Ajax model, tips, technical intelligence, personality, and the S is speed. Speed isn't the speed of running, the speed of decision making and executing. The one thing I'll give Conor Gallagher, right? I'm going to praise him a lot here because I saw it against Burnley right in front of my eyes. He holds on to the ball for maximum 3-4 seconds. He's released it. His decision making, whether it's easy decision making or a bit harder, he does it quickly and he executes. That is massively lacking in a lot of Spurs players. A lot of our players, either they haven't got it in the skill set or it's not been drilled into them. That's something that's missing. We need players that quickly make the decision and do it.
What you mentioned,
just looking at
I can't. It's just an Alice band. We have to remove the Alice band from Anthony Gordon if we were to sign him. I can't be dealing with an Alice band on the head like that.
People in the chat are saying that, one or two people are saying that Newcastle fans don't want Gordon. Cool, bring him to Tottenham. I have him all day long and twice on Sunday.
Yeah,
He's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Exactly,
Tenacious.
he's exactly what Tottenham need on the left-hand side. 100%.
Firstly, Sean, firstly, it was a joy, apart from watching the ball nestle in Raya's net from those Dorgu and Cunha shots. It was brilliant to see just pure individualism with those goals. You know, Dorgu, the football that led to his shot was superb. The little 1-2s and the shot was brilliant. Cunha got it, looked up, and swept forward and absolutely buried it. It was superb, and we just don't see that at our club.
He bent it round the 1-2 and then bending it round the outside of the defender.
Such a good goal.
We got no one that does that. We don't have.
We've got Odebear now, mate. Odebear's stepping up, Johnny.
Yeah,
come on now.
Listen, Odebear has got better and better and better. And you know, the complaint is, I thought Thomas Frank was meant to come in and improve these kids. Well,
he has improved Odebear. He's improved Odebear.
Correct.
I think all Odebear needed was a bit more confidence. I don't think he had the confidence to do those final things. He's nowhere near like good enough of a level, but his potential is starting
getting better.
Manifest.
He's getting better, mate. He's a French under-21 international, and he's getting better and better. That's all I know. That's all I know. Guys in the chat. God, sorry.
Touching on what Stel said about Ajax. Ajax came through Cruyff, Barcelona, going back to a guy called Curver, Coerver. Curver was the guy behind Total Football with Holland in the 70s that inspired Cruyff, that Cruyff brought to Barcelona.
Rinus Michels.
That Michels and then Guardiola carried on.
I saw Curver coaching.
If you want to have a look at Curver's manual, it is phenomenal.
Is it in your files?
Is it part of your 8? Is it number 8 on your manifesto?
No, it's not.
No,
Curver files.
Mate, you know the FA dislike Curver. They don't like it.
Unbelievable. I watched a guy had left Benfica and was going around Portugal for the season teaching Curver to kids. And we were staying in Portugal and we're at this sports place, and I paid for my son to have a week's training. There were 8 kids, and the training they had was absolutely phenomenal. Just phenomenal. My son
you know what it is? It's ball mastery. It's Glenn Hoddle's a believer in this. He says that no kid should be learning to pass, shoot, and whatnot until they can control the ball on the left and right side of the body and manipulate the direction of play.
Still, he had them doing individual skills that were getting harder and harder and harder, and he finished off. It was brilliant. Do you remember
it's all individual. Yeah.
Do you remember the goal that Bale got at Stoke? When Lennon chipped the ball over Bale's shoulder and he hooked it in from the left to the right hand corner, and he had these kids between 9 and 14 doing this. It was just brilliant. It was you had a goalkeeper one end, you had the ball in the centre circle, you had players in opposite corners go for the ball. Whoever got the ball won it, one touch, shoot, and it was
like Lubo. Do you know who did that? When McDermott was the academy director at Spurs, it was all about individual development. Develop the individual, and if you have enough individuals of that level in a team, the team will naturally be quality. But Spurs have moved away from that in the academy. Now it's more about team play, passing and moving, which is completely different to the first team. So,
but you know who is the anomaly there? Still is Luca Williams-Barnett. Because you see some of the skill when he's on the ball and the individualism that I've seen him play, in snaps from this season. Looks
not good enough though. Not good enough to come on and get minutes at the moment, Lubo. There's a difference between being 16.
Dean too small, Johnny. Dean too small for the physicality side.
Listen, 16 years of age, literally just 17. You know. Like Mikey
but what's his name? Byfield gets the minutes because he's a bigger unit, right?
Yeah, but Byfield, he's not going to be playing week in and week out, right? He's going to be.
Marcus Edwards was 5'3" from the looks of what I saw.
Yeah, but Marcus Edwards though was playing for Burnley. He got let go of Tottenham out to Sporting where the game is completely different. Marcus Edwards, by the way, is a tenacious little fucking.
By the way, he did well.
I've always rated Marcus Edwards. I think he's a Jack Russell. He's a very, very he's a talented player.
He was causing us problems in that midfield.
The only game Poch played in was Gillingham, wasn't it, in the League Cup? It was the only time he played in. But the kid to watch out for coming through the youth, who is so direct, so quick, is Tyler Thompson.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, we've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Oh, go on, sorry, Stel. If you got, go on.
Can we just do?
None of them get a look in at Tottenham. I love the academy and I love youth football. It's such a soft spot in my heart. But none of these kids are going to get a break at our club. It's just not fucking happening.
I mean, look at Callum. Look at Callum Olosesi, right? Okay. I love the way he plays. I love the way he moves the ball. He's the captain of the under-21s. And what do we see before the West Ham game? Our chairman or CEO turns around and says, I want to see more kids making it through the academy. I want to see a pathway. And what does he do? He sends an 18-year-old captain, our 18-year-old under-21 captain to Torino. No problem. Fantastic. Only caveat is they got an option to buy him. Why? Why not have a loan, see how he gets on, and then maybe you make a decision afterwards whether you want to sell him?
Johnny, you don't sign Gray, you don't sign Bergvall, you don't sign Tell, you don't sign Souza if you're interested in our academy. You don't keep signing these young players who are going to fill the spots that our academy is supposed to be.
I agree, but do you understand? Do you in any shape, way, or any way get why we would loan him out to Torino with the proviso that he might well do really well?
Yes, because our academy isn't what we want it to be, to feed the first team with talent. Our academy is an arm of the business to generate money for the club. That's how our academy operates.
How old is Olosesi?
18.
Okay. How old is Dane Scarlett?
21. Sell Dane Scarlett.
22.
Yeah. How old is Matisse Tell?
20.
20.
Just turned 20, right? And how many of our fan base have written off Matisse Tell?
Yeah, exactly. But they want to give Dane Scarlett a start.
Or Olosesi or any of these guys, right? Like there's not that much difference between a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old, right? Or a 21-year-old. We're writing off certain players, and we're begging for minutes for Mikey Moore. Who, let's be honest, Mikey Moore's had a decent couple of output games in terms of goals at Rangers, but he hasn't exactly lit the game up. And yet,
but he's playing every week.
Sure, one second.
He's not ready for the Premier League level, but because they've come through our youth academy, we seem to put them on a pedestal, and the players that come in at the same age, we seem to say that they're not.
No, all I'm saying
isn't fair. If Johnny, this isn't fair.
No. Can I just finish? Sorry, still come back. All I wanted to say was, I'm not saying Callum Oluwasi is ready for the first team. What I'm saying is, go to Torino, absolutely fantastic, but why sell an asset now before you've seen what he could possibly become?
Well, hopefully that option would have a buyback clause in it, Johnny. Right?
Well,
hopefully, if it doesn't, then they've obviously run the rule on him and think if we can get 5 million or 10 million or whatever it is for him, if he does well. But I'm with you, Johnny, in as much as if he's supposed to be shit hot, then you loan someone out. But if you also include an option, then you're basically saying if he does really well, then he might go on to be this brilliant player. But you've already locked in a £5 million like turnover. You're not taking the. Because what does 5 million quid really buy you? I agree with you, still.
Run the academy.
As much as like the academy is there now to facilitate first team purchases. I get that. But 5 million quid doesn't buy you with the left pinky of Matisse Tell at the moment. And so
the academy costs just under £2.5 million to run. So if you sell a player for 5 million, that's funding the academy for 2 years. If you sell a player for 10 million, like we sold Harry.
What happens if Olosesi is the next Noni Madueke?
One second. We sold Harry Winks for £20 million. That is net profit. That's net profit. So
Oliver
Skip and there was one player that went for 10 million. I forgot his name. Cole Norton.
Yeah.
Kevin Wimmer went for cheap. Listen, for me, Sean, every time you sign a youngster between 18 and 21 for the first team, you block the pathway for academy player, which means we will never find out. And the other thing is, if we were doing really well, let's say we were challenging for Europe, we're in the top 6, 7, we're there. then there's a very strong argument to say we don't need to bring through the academy players. But we're not. And we're not with these players that we've signed, like the Tells. So there's a strong argument to say, well, if we're going to fail spending 40 million on Tell, is it not worth giving an academy kid a free crack at it as well? And we don't.
We're not close
That's
enough.
the bit I don't like.
But we're just assuming that because they're academy players that they're better than they might be. We don't know, right? There's a reason why.
Sure, you missed my point. I'm not
I
assuming.
haven't missed your point. I hear you. I hear your point. I haven't missed your point.
We know it's not working signing Tells. We know it's not working doing that.
But not yet. But Matty Tell is younger than Dane Scarlett.
The manager has removed Tell from the Champions League squad. Why?
Yeah. Because we haven't got enough. We haven't got enough homegrown players, and because we've only got a certain amount of 17 names on the squad that we can put them in. Listen, I think that the way that Matisse Tell has been treated is abhorrent. I really do. But my point is that Matisse Tell is younger than Dane Scarlett, and his in terms of the first team options that we have, he is a he steps up, stands up, and tries his best. I know a lot of people think he's dog shit. I completely disagree. I think he's very much got a huge amount of potential. To me, whether he was worth 40 million quid is by the by. We paid it now. But in terms of just because like we have young players, I think that we as a fan base seem to think that players that we haven't seen, we don't watch every day, these 17, 18-year-olds that are playing a standard of football that is so far beneath first-team Premier League football that we assume we have some sort of like we wear it on our heartstrings because they're one of our own. We therefore think that they should be given chances that matter. And at the same time.
No, I'm not that fat. Right, I've got friends who coach in the academy. I've had them for years. I chat to them and they say to me, this kid here, if he's given a chance, he can make it. And he is showing more at his age than what we saw from that we signed.
Was Mikey Moore one of them?
Yes.
Mikey Moore didn't do anything in the first team for Tottenham, and he hasn't really done anything in Rangers either.
But here's the thing. Giving a kid one game and then 45 minutes, and then no games for 3 weeks, then 45. That's not how you find out if a player's good. The only way you ever find out if an academy player can truly crack it is if you give them a good run of games, 8, 9, 10 games.
You can't afford to give them those games, though, still. You can't afford to give Mikey Moore 8, 9, 10 games. Right. He's not doing it.
If you're under pressure, as Mawani's been given how many games? Mawani's been given how many games, Sean? We can do it. We choose not to. We choose to give players that are failing every week more and more and more chances, but we refuse to give our kids those same minutes.
But Mawani should have been But Mawani, if we're being on meritocracy here, Mawani should have been benched, and Matisse Tell should have been given the chance. Not fucking Williams Barnett or whoever Tynan Thompson. Like,
mate, we would rather play a busted, broken, out-of-date Ben Davies than say to an academy kid, do you know what? Go on, son. Show us what you got. We'd rather give Ben Davies at 465 years old more minutes than an academy left or right back.
It's through the years. 2 years ago when we lost Romero and Van der Ven in that Chelsea game, when we lost 4-1, he played Dyer, who had said he didn't want to be at the club instead of Phillips. The other one, I'm seeing Yusuf Akamrich being mentioned in the comments, so he's a useful player. Better than him, and I haven't seen Sousa, no idea, could be the next Roberto Carlos, who knows. But there's a kid in the academy called Mason King who deserves a chance. He has been absolutely superb right the way through the academy. He's just come back after an injury, and he must be looking at that thinking, what am I doing here? They're bringing in this guy Sousa. I don't understand it. I'm with you still. I think it's bullshit. I think
you'd rather throw kids like lambs to the slaughter.
No, I'd rather give them a chance to prove themselves.
Sousa hasn't played yet, Lubo.
But not the academy kids.
No, I'm saying, but we don't even know. We don't even know what the plan is with him. We don't know if he's going to be on the bench. He might get loaned out.
Sean, how many young players between the age of 18 to 21 have we signed in the last 5 years that have landed?
What do you mean? What do you mean by landed?
They're really, This was a good signing.
Papa Sarr.
Udogi, Papa Sarr. I think
Okay.
Matisse Tell. I think Odebear.
Matisse Tell hasn't done. Okay, if he'd landed, he'd be in the squad. He barely plays.
No,
Odegaard
but
in and out the squad.
not necessarily, because sometimes it's horses for course. Sometimes managers play favourites. Sometimes if Matisse Tell said something which we're not aware of and told Thomas Frank he's an absolute donut.
Sean, when I say landed, I mean we're seeing something really good from them. Like consistently, this is a good player we've got. Like Dele Alli did. When we signed Dele Alli, that's what I mean. Landed. That landed.
What are you basing this notion that these kids are ready on? The fact that they do well in the under-21s?
On the notion that we've paid money, significant money for them to be at Spurs, and we are failing as a team.
Oh, what are you basing the notion that
fans are saying? Sean, fans say, right? I'm just going by what a lot of fans say, and I heard this when I was talking to fans up at Burnley. Johnny said it tonight. How the fuck are we going to win games when Man United have got Mbeumo and Cunha and we've got what we've got? Well, what we've got is a lot of kids there that we signed young, who are now in their early 20s. They're not doing the business. Yet we're prepared to spend money and give them a crack at it, but we're not prepared to say to the kids that we've been developing for 10 years in our academy, go on, you deserve a chance the same they have. We're not prepared to do that.
Well, maybe they're not ready. Olasisi, maybe. Listen, we have at some point.
But how do you know when they're ready unless you give them a chance?
Well, that's what these guys are paid money to figure out, Stel.
Yeah, and they're getting it wrong because we're 14.
They're not necessarily getting it wrong. The fact that they haven't played doesn't mean that the fact that if they had played, it would have been a success.
Sean, we are losing on a regular basis with the young players we've signed.
But two things can be true at the same time, right? We could be a bad first team with young players that we bought that aren't really kicking on right now. But at the same time, we could have a bunch of kids that also aren't ready. The fact that Olasisi has gone out on loan to Torino, you'd hope that people that watch these guys all day long have decided that he's not ready for Tottenham's first team relative to our other options. And so, therefore, loan him out with an option and maybe a buyback clause. Now, that might turn out to be a shit show. With Noni Madueke, it turned out to be the wrong decision. But with the vast majority of Tottenham players that came through our youth system that didn't get a chance in the first team, that fucked off, how many of them have gone on to be better? How many of them have gone on to have major careers? No, so answer that question. How many Tottenham players that came through the youth system who didn't get a chance at Tottenham or did went on to be a sensation somewhere else? All I can think of is Sol Campbell, Harry Kane, Harry Winks, who's currently playing in the Championship.
Sean, once they leave Tottenham, they're out of our hand. They're out of our development process. Half of these kids on loan barely get the minutes, so their development gets hindered. The point of developing them in-house is so that their development thereon remains in-house.
James Scarlett's been out on 5 loans, failed at all of them, and suddenly he's now coming into the first team ahead of...
so why is he still at Spurs then? Sell him. Not every kid's going to
sell
make
him. 100% sell him. I agree.
Hold on.
Sell.
No.
Yeah, and I'll be in the thing, brother, saying buy.
Do we hear 5? Do we hear 5? 6 in the stalls? Yeah.
Listen, every single year you have a number of kids that break through, they become scholars, okay? Of those scholars, 90% will not make it at Tottenham. They might make it at another Premier League club. They might have to go abroad. Most end up in the lower league, but they have a career in professional football. They've made it. If you're paid to play, you've made it. But there should be that small percentage that are nurtured into the first team because they are good enough. That never, ever happens. And it happens for 2 reasons. Number one, we buy players that block their pathway. And 2, we've never had a manager that's had the bollocks to say, I'm going to stick with you. I am sticking with you.
Option three, they're just not good enough.
Yeah, that's the 90% I mentioned. They're not good enough.
It might be the 99.9% with Tottenham still, because name me the players that were part of our youth team that went on somewhere else and smashed it. Noni Madueke is 1. Marcus Edwards, you can make an argument, is 2. Harry Kane, maybe Ollie Skip, maybe Harry Winks. And none of those players are playing for better teams than Tottenham apart from Harry Kane.
Sean, once they leave Tottenham, they're out of our development process. That happens. How many players leave Arsenal?
But their development carries on. It's not like they suddenly fall into a black hole. They're developed elsewhere.
How many players leave Man United's academy and gone to better things? How many leave Arsenal's academy and gone to better things? How many
Lots.
leave Man City's and gone to better things? Not
Lots
as
more
many.
than ours. And Manchester
Sure.
City's, nearly every single one of them.
But they feed youngsters into their team at the same time. We feed none. We don't
They
feed
have
a
the squad, but
single
the ones that
academy
they
player into our first team, Sean. Not one.
The ones
Not
that they
even one.
feed in, the ones that they feed in usually make it. Manchester City's got one right now, Oscar Bob, right? He's gone to Fulham, or he's going to Fulham.
That's a downgrade.
Sure, but it's still a Premier League downgrade. Where is Harry?
Okay,
where's
Marcus
Harry
Edwards.
Winks?
There's Marcus Edwards. Downgrade.
Downgrade, right? Where is Harry Winks currently playing? Championship.
Sure,
Where's
but-
Ollie Skip
but-
currently
but-
playing? Championship.
But they still bring through at least one academy player into that first team not every year, maybe every 1 or 2 years, even 3 years, one academy kid breaks in. None of our academy kids get a chance. None of them. Not a single freaking one. It's been like that for 5-6 years now.
It might just be because
They're not all shit, Sean. They're not all not good enough. All of them. All of them.
If they don't get a chance at Tottenham and they go somewhere else and they still fail to break through, why is that?
Sean, in that case, shut down the academy because it's pointless. We don't need it. It doesn't develop anything for the first
Not
team.
necessarily.
Shut it down.
You say yourself, it costs £2 million to do it. If you sell,
But it costs us 40 million
paid
to
for the
build.
academy for 10 years, right?
So we spent £40 million to build an academy facility so that we can generate incremental £5 million every once in a while. Bollocks.
I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer. But let's be honest. Ashley Phillips. We only brought him in a year before he became a professional footballer. Has he done anything? What about Lancashire?
He's not academy developed.
Hang on. Ashley
he's
Phillips
not
is playing
developed.
week in and week out at Stoke and
At the
playing
championship,
very well.
at the championship level.
Yeah, no, but he's 20 years of age. He's
Sure.
been playing centre back since 18.
We didn't develop him, Johnny. We didn't develop him. We bought him when he was 16.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
but
not.
what I'm saying
he's
is
not an academy player.
he's not an academy player, but we bought the talent, which is something we were meant to be doing, which we started to do under Fabio. But when he left, we stopped. Yeah, we bought Will Lancashire. We bought him. Yeah. Anyway, guys, in the chat, there's been loads of you in here, but hardly any of you have hit the subscribe button. So if you're in here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. And you've been very miserly on the likes. Very miserly. Yeah. It's like,
should we do the last super chats and round off? We have been going 25 minutes past the thing. Great last debate though. Wasn't expecting that at the end. Big bodyguard. Big up to you, my man. You look like a big fella. Appreciate you. Haven't seen you before. £10 super sticker. You know what you get when you put in this £10 super sticker? You get the choo-choo noise, my man. When it clicks in. There you go. Big up, big body man, big bodyguard. Even appreciate you very much indeed, mate. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you, buddy. Sorry, it's taken a while to get to it. An hour ago, that was. Roy Viking, member for 6 months, says the protest should have been after the Arsenal match. That's when everyone's absolutely fuming and actually wants change.
It's not a bad shout.
Do you know what? Maybe the post-match protest would be a better idea than the pre-match. You know, when everyone's optimism slightly different. Big up to you, Roy. Thank you very much for your loyalty. Stephen J. Cam has said, "Great show as always." Enoch out. Come on, you Spurs. Big up to you, Stephen. Thank you very much, mate. Choo-choo to you. And Nasty Ninja has said, "Total points from our next 4 Premier League games, guys." Perfect way to finish.
Can I answer this first, please? Right.
Sure.
I'll be sure. Do you remember before a couple of weeks ago, there was 12 games, and I said in the next 12 games, I think we're going to get we're going to get about 3 wins. Mate, I'm dropping that because in that process was to beat Burnley and West Ham. So I don't think we're winning more than 1 game in February at best. I'm going to say we get 4 points, 1 win and 1 draw and 2 losses.
Out of Arsenal, Newcastle, United, and City.
Yeah, we'll win one of them. We'll pull a rabbit out the hat. And we'll somehow sneak a draw. Draw against City, beat Newcastle, lose to Arsenal, lose to Man United.
That'd be quite good, 4 points. That
I was going to say, I'll take 4 points all day long at the moment.
That means we only need 8 points the rest of the season to be safe. Yeah, I'll take that.
Lubo, how many points for the next 4?
3. Newcastle.
3 draws or 1 win?
Newcastle at home, 3 points.
Yeah, I agree with Lubo. I'm actually gonna join Stella. Actually, I'm gonna go Newcastle at home, win, and I think we're going to somehow get a draw with Man United.
No way. At Old Trafford.
I'm going to say United. We're going to beat United because I think that they're. I think
You've
they're
lost the plot.
No. They're just it's a false dawn load of bollocks, mate. I've been through this before. That geezer with the hair, he's getting excited again. He's getting out the Clippers. He's booking a hair appointment.
Three more games. That's all he needs. Three more
Sure,
games.
I am clipping the shit out of this one.
Clip it. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 3 points, and I think it's just going to be that game because I think United have.
Mate, Cunha and Buemo, Mainu and Bruno against us.
We heard this before.
Are going to have a field day.
Every single time United they win, they think they've turned the corner. They haven't. They're a dog shit football club, and they are in the mud as much as anyone else. I can't stand them, and it's going to be only a matter of time until they're back on their knees crying, "Oh, Glazers out." Shut up, United fans. You haven't turned the corner on anything, and I can't stand it, and I can't wait to see them fall. I'm going to say 3 points just from United.
Be interested to see how United do, because these two games, nothing was expected of them. Carrick has just said, go out and play. You got nothing to lose. Nobody expects you to pick up a point from Arsenal and City. And they've gone out and they've done bloody well. And the shackles have come off, and it is the new manager bounce. Let's see how they do at Fulham.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how they do it. Let's see how they do at Fulham, Lubo. Exactly, mate.
In that same league table,
when Ollie got sacked, he came in. They were playing the same type of football. They won 3 in a row, and then they removed him for Ten Hag. Right? They should have stuck with Carrick then. And I said it. You're mad to get rid of Carrick. He's onto something. He's come back. He's doing exactly what he did last time. There.
You know what United should do? United should just change their manager every month. They get a new manager bounce every month. It's the only way that they ever stay consistent, because they will fall back. They will fall back off their perch, because that's what United do. They are a poison chalice, and nobody lasts long there. No, listen.
If you can't see Man United are moving that ball in a completely different way, you lot are in denial. They're shifting that ball differently, man.
You said this 3 months ago when they went on their most recent little bounce, and then they fell apart again. It's what they do. It's what they do.
Amarim's been up and down since he's been there.
And so will Carrick be, and so will Glasner in the summer. And it's the same old shit.
Carrick gets it. He's not elite, but he gets it. I think he's a good, steady manager. He's a steady manager.
Still, let's see how United do at Fulham in that same league table from Chelsea onwards, where we're 18th.
Mate, I was watching the best set-piece goal scorer in world football, Gabriel. He got bodied by Maguire. Maguire bullied Gabriel.
Still,
fucking mad.
Still, since Chelsea, we're 18th. Fulham are 4th. 4th. That's how good their form has been since
Man United, they're going to bring them back down to earth.
Cuti Romero bullied Maguire in the final. Just remember that. He had him in his pocket.
But I love Cuti. I've always defended him. Can I say that when Man United played City, City didn't know what hit them, and Man United, it wasn't for Donnarumma, that could have been 5 or 6-0.
Yeah.
Arsenal 2 stinky, horrible goals to even score against Man United. It was a set piece, chaos, a melee of rebounds and ricochets for their goals. Man United's goals are quality, worked, trained goals. I'm telling you, this isn't a bounce. Carrick gets it.
I'm telling you, it is a bounce, and they're going to regress back to that.
All right, let's do the rest of the chats, guys. The super chats.
Last super chat and we're done. Our alter ego Russian roulette says, do we adapt our academy modus operandi first team tactics? Is the style cohesive between the levels? Constant managerial changes don't exactly help our cause.
Agree.
We have adapted it, but the problem is, and Johnny touched on it, removing Paratici has now disrupted the work he did in the academy to align it. It's now
correct.
All the work done the last 3 years has just been taken back to square one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for that super chat, my man. Appreciate you. I appreciate everyone. Been a long show, 2.5 hours. Please don't forget to smash the like, smash the subscribe, notification button should be squeezed. And also don't forget, guys, OK Jersey, sticking code 515, and you get 15% off between now and the end of the transfer window. Can't ask fairer than that. Appreciate everybody. I'm sure everyone's back at some point tomorrow. Early stream for Spurs Talk Show. Johnny's Football Link's going later on. I'm sure Stell's doing something on Spurs Corner tomorrow. Are you, Stel? It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
Wednesday.
No, because
sorry.
Spurs are playing against Frankfurt, so we've shifted it tomorrow. We're live at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Lubo, I'm sure you'll sneak in the back door.
Yeah, you can always find Lubo in the kitchen at parties, right? Through the back door.
Through the back door, through the keyhole. Big up to you all. Appreciate it, guys. Smash like, smash subscribe. See you tomorrow. And as always, bye.
Bye. Come
Bye,
on.
Jeff. Bye, Jeff.